Hello and welcome to the Yerky Boys. May the Kandrona shine and strengthen you. My name is Will.
My name is Jonathan.
And we are
The Yerky Boys.
And today we're gonna this is a kind of a first time for us, is an unplanned part 2.
Right.
We're gonna be finishing up book 37, which we didn't quite have time to finish last time.
Yes, we got through a portion of it, but the second half of that episode will be this week.
Yeah.
That this was still released in December 1999, just to catch people up, in case you forgot.
Yep. And still a ghost written by Elise Smith. We've been over this.
Yeah. We've covered some of this, so we're not going to repeat old territory.
Yeah. Is there, before we really get in, is there anything that happened in this last week we need to cover?
We do have a little bit of show news.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I do have to report that we were dropped by all of our sponsors.
All of them?
Yeah. Yes. All of them.
But we went out of our way to make sure we had some backups, just in case.
Yeah, I know, and that's why you need to have backups. But sometimes it just I think some of them are it's kind of a negotiating tactic. And they're probably going to come back, but that's so
okay.
We won't be doing ads this week, but who knows?
Who knows going forward? We'll see what we can do.
For now, our only source of revenue, of course, is our Patreon at patreon.com/theyerkyboys.
And we need it now more than ever without our sponsors.
Yeah, without the sponsors, we are unfortunately going to have to ask our listeners for support over there. We do give you bonus episodes on that, so there's something there, but
extra 1.5-ish hours a week.
True. It's true.
Yep.
We can't help ourselves.
We sure can't.
And but so it is what it is. But so we're gonna cover. If you missed last week's episode, you will probably want to start with it. Otherwise, you're gonna miss some context. But
right, I'll try to recap a little bit. But we'll
recap a little bit. Before we get into the weakness, I was gonna say I was just looking at the old Elon Musk website. And
my favorite guy.
I didn't even know about this. Obviously, we're always looking at Kay Applegate's Twitter/X account.
Right.
Did you know about this? That she's coming out with a new book in the One and Only series?
Maybe. I feel like I do see updates on her books, and I sometimes confuse them and don't remember what's what.
Yeah, in 1 month, from our record date, so May 7th, the One and Only Family is coming out.
Wow.
Sequel to the One and Only Ivan. It looks like Ruby and Bob. There's also those are the other One and Only books are also on the cover of this one. I think this says this is the last adventure. So this is like the series will be complete now. We could go in and read the full series.
We could do the One and Only podcast.
We could. That would be such a good name for a podcast. The One and Only podcast.
Keep an eye out for us.
But anyway, I don't know. Maybe this will be Patreon content, but I'm that's kind of exciting. That's fun.
Yeah, I think that is fun. I would agree.
She's touring too.
I think she also just finished all the Animorphs audiobooks. I remember seeing something about that. Like she either just finished recording or just released the last one or something.
Cool. Yeah. There's a lot of exciting developments. Our podcast we're in the zeitgeist. We're right at we're on the cutting edge of what's going on in the world.
That is the phrase, the cutting edge.
That's right. The Hork-Bajir's edge. Like a Wolverine's claws. All right. So last week we did talk about where did we finish off? Because me.
We did get through the cover. Most of it, yeah. So for those, just as a small recap, Rachel's turning into a cheetah. She looks like Bart Simpson, and we both want to fuck that cheetah in the mouth.
Right.
Now, we did not get to the quote on the cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do have to talk about that quote.
We got pretty far in, but not that far.
I did actually have one question. This is just a general question I'll pose. You don't have to answer it. Maybe it's
Okay.
rhetorical.
Okay.
Before we get started,
Sure.
last week, or maybe people don't know this because I don't know if they celebrate it all over the world because we have a lot of listeners down under other places. But last week was April Fool's Day. We thought about doing an April Fool's joke, but we didn't come up with one in time.
Shit.
Yeah, I know.
No, you know what?
Next year.
I had a good one actually. Fuck. We'll have to do it next year.
Save it for next year. It'll be fun.
Yeah, okay.
But I did wonder, there was a point about 80% of the way through this book where I did stop and wonder, did Will somehow hack my Kindle? Did he get AI or hire someone to write this book? And is this a real Animorphs book, or is this an elaborate April Fool's joke? So I think, we're finishing it a week later, but I think this is an appropriate book for an April Fool's episode because I did question at one point whether or not this might be a prank on me. Like, did he go in and edit Zeropedia? did it say this a week ago? I don't know. But I think it's real. I think it's real.
Yeah, well, our listeners are going to be shocked when they get there because I might have played a little pranky prank. They'll be like, what? I don't remember that happening. They don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, that would be pretty funny. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet, that I just read the wrong book. And
well, remember all those times you accidentally watched movies or
yes, and then I read The Secret once by accident.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's happened.
It has happened, but it hasn't affected the podcast in any way yet.
No, I'm very, very good at adapting. So this quote,
yeah. So on the cover here, it says, "Jake's not around. Who will take his place?"
Wow. Of another somewhat rare, but it's happened before, a direct reference to the plot on the front of the book.
Yes, and I feel like the couple times it's happened have all been recent. Like, I don't know if this is Scholastic people saying, like, we got to market this better, or if they just couldn't think of anything catchy, or maybe a new guy on the job didn't get the memo.
I remember one that stands out in my mind is the David trilogy did that too. At least a little bit they did, but yeah, maybe that's what it is. They're trying to hook you.
Yeah,
because I mean that also does assume that if you're looking at this cover, maybe it's because you're later in the series, you're assuming people looking at this book know who Jake is and give a shit that he's not around.
Yeah. I mean, this is for people who read a couple of the books in the teens and then kind of fell off, and they're like, should I get the new one? I don't know.
Like, imagine if this was book 3 and you didn't know the series and you're like, Jake's not around? Huh? The fuck? Why is this bitch turned into a cheetah? All right. And then he's like, don't call women bitches. Don't do that. Do not do that.
That is what I was about to say.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are feminists on the show. Now, I have not looked at the inside cover yet. I'm hoping to see something. I don't know if I'm gonna.
I'll just tell you, you're not gonna see the thing you're hoping to see.
That is disappointing. Well, what do we see? Let's see. Okay. Okay, so
I do like the picture. It is a scene from the book.
I am looking at 4 cheetahs in the foreground. They are outdoors and looks like sort of a meadow. I guess it's like
3 of them are lurking and hiding, and one of them is happily and conspicuously bounding away from the target and toward the viewer.
Yeah, just posing.
Yeah.
And then in the background we see Tobias, and I actually am. Wait, 1, 2, 3. So that's Visser 3.
That is Visser 3. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
His arms are a little buffer, I think, than Axe's.
He's a bit more menacing looking.
He's very stiff looking. He looks like he's got a bad back or something.
It's a very weird. That is the real bad spot of this image to me. That his
Mhm.
like side profile, it looks awkward. Like someone just didn't fill in the other half. Like he just looks like a cardboard cutout. It's not great. I don't like this picture. This is bad. This is bad.
The perspective on these cheetahs is weird too. The one in the foreground does not really match the ones in the background. Like I don't know
No.
how far away is it supposed to be? Like obvious, like it feels like it looks like maybe they're like 10 feet apart, but then the perspective implies they got to be more like 40 or something. Like it's off, you know? Or the
It's
size difference, I mean,
confusing.
should be. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I also like, in even knowing the scene, I feel like other things should be going on right now, or positioning should be different based on
Mhm.
how it's written. This is a strange
Mhm.
thing. Kind of looks like the Windows XP wallpaper,
Sure, yeah, I see it.
because
Uh
there's grass in the sky.
I mean, yes, that's what. Now the inside cover quote here
Yeah, what
says,
is that?
"The time has come. Dot 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 dot."
Once again, the fourth dot making its way into the inside.
What the fuck does that mean?
The time has come, the walrus said, for cabbages and kings, right? Remember Harriet the Spy?
Sort of,
I think
vaguely.
that's what that's from.
Now,
Uh,
like I don't know. The time has come for what? Jake to not be around right now
well, for this scene, for what's
for this
happening
scene. Yeah, for
here,
this. The time has come for this book. What does that have to do with anything in this book?
I think they're just trying to get you. You're like, oh, the time has come for what? And it's like, oh, they're doing a thing. That's what the time has come for.
Yeah, and then you read it and you're like, oh, they got me.
Did they? Do you? I guess.
I think they did because I don't know what happened that the time came for.
Well, the time came to, like, now is when we strike. You know.
Yeah, but now is always when they strike.
Well, sure. And now it's another one of those. It didn't say it's the only time.
That feels like they got me.
Now, Seropedia, I'm seeing it's there's a version of this book wrapped in plastic that says
Hmm.
free zipper tag inside.
I
You see
had to
that?
wonder if I ever got that. Because I don't remember. It's possible I got that one at one point in my life.
It looks like a keychain with I guess, I don't know, a zipper tag. I guess you put that on like a zipper on a backpack. Is that what that is? Never heard that term before.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like what it would be. So
Sure. Okay. I would be like, whatever. I don't know. It's an A. It's a big shiny A, like Animorphs. It looks like complete shit. It's terrible. And it looks like it must be like an inch wide based on the size of the book. So I don't think you missed out on anything not to getting that.
yeah, I mean if I did get it, then it probably went in a box somewhere until I threw it out
Why is
in
this
a
book
move.
called The Weakness? Because of the thing at the end? What, we'll get into it.
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot to say about this book, and I
Well,
don't
that's
quite
why
know
it took
where I
two
want to say it.
parts.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
it's two parts. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
just so much to talk about.
We couldn't fit it all into one episode. So today
Yeah.
might be a little shorter than last week's, actually. Just because
Well,
we got a lot of it out last week.
that's true, but we'll see. It could be longer. The
15
listeners will
minutes
know. They'll
in,
see the runtime. Yeah.
we're ready to start the plot already at 15 minutes. We're like, this is
Holy
unprecedented.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's a good thing we got the our cover talk out of the way last time.
Right. That helps. That helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's. I guess we're ready to start this book.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
so
But
so
first, a little word. No. Okay, go ahead.
so as the quote on the cover implies, Jake is out of town. He's out of town for a couple days. No leader. But Tobias has found Visser Three's new feeding ground by random chance, right? Visser Three's always changing his feeding grounds to avoid getting caught by the Animorphs, but Tobias found him. They know where it is right now. Um, and they're like, I guess we should go in and attack now, even though Jake's not around. And they decide that Cheetah is the a good morph for this, because then they can get him fat. Cheetahs are fast, right? Um, so they go to the meadow, and they morph Cheetah. I'm sure at some point they acquired these cheetahs. They go to the meadow and they morph Cheetah, and they're like zipping at him. They're trying to ambush Visser 3. They're dodging Dracon beams and Hork-Bajir, and suddenly in the middle of this, they are attacked by what we learn is called a Garrotron, which is a new species that has been infested by the Yeerks. Now a Garrotron, they look like they look like kind of smaller, daintier Andalites, maybe like a gazelle Andalite. They've got, the four legs, the tail and arms, the no mouth, the blue fur. But their head is very aerodynamic. It kind of looks like a motorcycle helmet crossed with an ice cream cone pointed forward, so like a very pointy face, right? And they have to be aerodynamic because it's super fast. It's like cartoonishly fast. It moves like the Roadrunner. It's like zipping around faster than they can see, and it's way faster than them as cheetahs. So even though they're really fast, it's like this thing is kicking all their asses, right? And even though it doesn't have a blade on its tail, it moves its tail so fast it's like a whip. So they're getting like lashes opened up, and when it speaks in thought speak, and it speaks like really fast. So in text, they represent this by having all of its sentences be like one word, right? Like they just take out all the spaces between words when it talks. So they get beaten off by this, well, fended off by this Garrotron.
Oh.
They have to leave, and the Garrotron, he is an inspector. The Yeerk infesting this Garrotron is an inspector from the Council of 13, and
this is a lot.
he is here to check up on why Visser 3 sucks so much at dealing with these Andalites. So this is our first couple of chapters.
Okay.
Maybe 3 or 4 chapters here. That's what happened. There's a Garrotron. They tried. Jake's not here. Cheetah's a Garrotron.
This again for listeners, I want to assure you, this is not an April Fool's joke. This is real. This is in the book from 1999. This is what they wrote.
Yeah, I didn't write this part of I didn't rewrite the whole book.
It's already immediately so ridiculous.
Yeah, I have so much. There's much.
We can't even talk about the Garrotron yet. We're not.
No.
There's more before that. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay. Right off the bat, Rachel starts talking about the name Rachel and what its origin might be.
Mm-hmm.
This is just your intro fluff, but she immediately says there's a person in the Bible named Rachel, and I'm going, "You're a Jew, Rachel." Rachel is like a classic Jew name. What are you doing? The Bible.
Yeah, she should call it
ghostwriter fucked
the Torah.
up.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Anyway,
the Talmud.
There's that. Also, there was she also, she's given the intro spiel and everything, and she's talking about the Yeerks, and she says they have all taxons, and I had to Seropedia goof right there. No, they don't have them all. No, I guess maybe Rachel doesn't know that though.
Oh, that's true. She might not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they did kind of get the story of Elfangor, but they don't know about the living hive, do they?
No. They don't know about Arbron, the great Taxon resistance leader in the living hive.
Right.
My favorite character. Also, like right off the bat, there's a scene. I'm going to talk more about this later, but I do want to point it out now. There's a scene where they're talking, and Axe is like, "If I might interject something you wouldn't like," and Rachel's like, "Good thing Cassie stepped in because I almost slugged Axe a good one right there." Like right off the bat, it's like, what are you doing? What the fuck?
Like you said, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, but Yeah, Rachel's unhinged in this book.
I have
That's all I'll
some
say for
ideas
now.
about that we will get to when we
Okay.
get to them.
Okay. However, I did really like, I'm going to start using this phrase from now on when
Mhm.
I start conversations. Axe
Uh,
says, Rachel, if I might express an opinion I suspect will deeply annoy you.
I think you might have to change annoy to offend.
Yeah, I don't, annoy is funnier though.
Yeah.
So
It's
Jake
pretty
is
good.
gone. Jake
Right.
is Jake is spoiler alert, other than the last like 2 pages, Jake is not in this book.
Yeah, no Jake,
What
basically.
is that the first time any Animorph really has been missing in that way? Besides, I mean, Axe in the beginning.
Yeah, I can't think of any other time.
It's it's like that one. There's like one Seinfeld episode where it's just Jerry and Elaine. You're like, this is weird.
Yeah. I guess in
And they,
some ways the book is supposed to be about how the dynamic is fucked up without him,
oh
kind of, to
yeah,
some
oh,
degree. So like
kind of. I'd say it's pretty much about that. No, it's
I mean
pretty.
it is, but it's also about Rachel as a character and leadership, and I feel like that all gets
Mhm.
muddled, and it's not. Whatever, we'll get there.
Well,
It
anyway,
is
they're
about that. It's about that. Yeah.
yeah. They even reference the other book. I love this fucking stupid line. Where they're like, Tom stayed home so Jake didn't have to face that whole "do I kill my brother to save my father" thing again. They're just like, yeah, we did that once. Just don't worry about it. That'll never. We've just fucking he stayed home. Just don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
This time he was fine. He stayed home.
It's fine. Boy, imagine if they had texting though in this book, because they
Wow.
don't, and so there's
Yeah.
no way to contact Jake.
Yeah,
He
I
doesn't
mean,
have
like
a
that's
landline? Where the
who
fuck is he? On fucking Mars?
honestly, who knows? Like they could have I mean, this could be Jake's problem because I was like, I wouldn't know how the hell to contact him if his family just went on vacation. Because, like, what if they're in a hotel? I guess Jake could call them and be like, here's the number of the hotel you can call. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you know,
listen,
maybe if you're
Rachel's dad is already suspicious, and I'm sure Jake and Rachel's families are close. If Jake started getting random calls to the hotel room he's sharing with his parents from Rachel at 3 a.m., you know there would be a talk coming.
it could be he's gone for like 3 days. It doesn't have to be 3 a.m. There's an opportunity somewhere in there to say, hey, can you call room 12? It's
I'm just saying sometimes they call each other at 3
Tom's
a.m.
not even there. Oh, you're
Right, but
talking
his
about
parents are gonna be all like, I know what's up.
okay, you're doing
You
a
see what I'm
you're doing a Rachel Jake bit.
I'm not doing anything. That's the way it is.
Okay, yeah. I'm too caught up in the how annoyed I am by the actual logistics of it to enjoy
Maybe
your.
they're camping.
Do
Like
they
this is
say
1999. They don't have cell phones.
he's visiting relatives? That's all. That's all
Oh,
they say.
okay.
I feel like they have brought up cell phones. Like they've been referenced.
They don't
Now they
have
might
them
not
though.
have them,
Yeah,
but
they
they're
certainly do
around.
not have them.
But like maybe someone like his dad could. What does Jake's dad do for work? Do we know?
Doctor, pediatrician. He probably does not have a cell
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, he's got to have like a pager.
Yeah, he probably has like a pager or something.
I was gonna say, I bet Rachel's mom has a cell phone.
She probably also
Lawyers.
has a pager. I think
Yeah.
actually, if anyone had a cell phone, it would be Marco's dad because he's a tech guy. So he
My
would be the most likely to be like, "Oh,
maybe.
it's the coolest new tech that hasn't really been adopted yet, but I want to be an early adopter."
My dad was a lawyer, had a car phone for a long time.
Interesting.
So like that's maybe a thing. If I feel like if you're like especially a doctor, like you might need to be. I don't know. I guess he's not like
Yeah.
a heart surgeon. But anyway, and
Yeah, I mean,
also how
he's
about this? How about this?
mhm.
Fucking the Chi can't whip up a fucking
Yeah,
walkie-talkie
right.
for him. Okay, it's fine.
It's
Move
fine. I'm
on.
gonna
Move
chalk it. I'm
on.
gonna yeah. I'm chalking it up to it's 1999. Nobody had cell phones, so the author just didn't think to figure out how to
Look,
let them do that because this
I'm
was normal,
yeah,
right? This is a complaint we have now when we're like, "What do you mean they're not in contact at all times?"
right.
It would never even
Yes.
occur to me. And over there, it's like, "Wait, what do you mean they could be in contact at all times?" That never occurred to me.
Yeah, I'm
They
giving
could.
some grief, but to be fair, I do think like the idea, the premise of Jake is gone is not a
Mhm.
terrible premise. Like that is a
Mhm.
it's like, okay, that's interesting. Let's see how
Yeah.
that goes. Let's see how that goes. So they get
Yes.
these cheetahs. Again, we have another whale thing here.
Yeah, this is the
Orca.
second book and this is the new meta. They just have it now, okay? The Gardens has it, they have it. Don't worry about. We're not going to talk about them trying out the morph. We're not going to talk about them getting the morph. They're a fucking cheetah, okay?
I do like that we get to it. I like when they get to the cover more straight away.
Mhm.
I'm not always a fan of when it's like 90% of the way through and they're like, ah, shit, right. There's a rhino in this book. Forgot.
It does feel very much so like this was picked for the cover. Like we need a
Hmm.
new, especially when they don't even have
Yeah.
them go out and get the new animal and then they use it in this opening scene and then they don't use it again. It's like, oh, so they I Kay Applegate's like, I need a new one. It's got to be something cool and new they haven't done. Fucking cheetahs. Why cheetahs? They're fast. And oh,
Yeah.
what if they had a really fast enemy? That way, this would be the fast book. But the enemy is faster than the cheetah, so they didn't get the cheetah to be
Yeah, no,
faster than the
that's
enemy.
right.
So but don't worry about it. I just had to put a cheetah on the front. Now it was not important enough to learn, like, to find out about like how they got the cheetah or to talk about that, but it was very important to talk about how you know as birds they all have to fly separately just in case they get spotted by controllers because the new reader is not going to be confused. I legitimately think a new reader could read this and not realize they had to touch an animal to turn into it. But,
Yeah.
like, God forbid a new reader say, "Wait a second, flying all together as birds, wouldn't they get spotted and the bird watchers would get—" Better put in a sentence about that.
I think that's just my mind skips over those sentences now. But what my mind didn't skip over was these 17 pages of cheetah facts. This was I feel like maybe the longest unbroken stretch of just talking about cheetahs of
I
like an
think by
animal.
word count it wasn't. I think by page count it might have been, but a lot of it is just
Maybe.
like whoosh.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of, oh man, did you know how fast they are? And they have these markings and these claws, and here's what they can do. And it's like,
And
okay,
it's funny
I
because
get
they
it.
basically just talk about how fast they are over and over again, and they don't talk about some of the other things that feel like they would be very relevant to this, like the fact that cheetahs kind of suck at fighting. Like their claws are like dog claws. They're there for traction. They aren't good at like slashing. And cheetahs are like tiny and like you could kill a cheetah about as easily as you could kill a human. Um they don't deal out or take a lot of damage. They're pretty much good at one thing, getting in super fast and delivering a killing bite, and that's it. And like that's potentially relevant. Like, oh, we're not trying to fight Visser 3 or his guards. We're just trying to do an assassination mission, and if it doesn't work, then we're not here to fight. That's potentially relevant. They don't talk about any of that stuff.
How easily can you kill a person?
More easily than a tiger.
Hmm.
Now,
Okay.
now, do you want some fun cheetah facts? These ones you're gonna like.
Oh, really?
Did you know that cheetahs don't roar like other big cats? They meow like little cats. They make
Hmm.
meow sounds.
Okay, I like that.
Did you know that cheetahs are very social animals, and because they sometimes get lonely in captivity because they don't necessarily have enough of them, it's not that uncommon for cheetahs to have support dogs.
Oh,
They raise puppies with cheetahs so that they integrate well with cheetahs, and then they'll like take them around, and the cheetahs will play with their emotional support dogs.
that's nice. I like that too.
Yeah, cheetahs are fun and cute and cuddly. We should have
Uh,
domesticated them.
I was waiting for like a third fact to be like, and did you know cheetahs jack off on babies and
No, I just
then
had the two ones that I liked.
oh, okay. I
I didn't like try to set up a three.
well, as Rachel says, every unbelievable fact I knew about this cat was true. Before this mission, she watched Animal Planet. She was so excited. She's like, I can't believe it. I better see this for myself.
I was wondering,
It's true.
do you think this is how Cassie picks these morphs? Like, like she watches an Animal Planet documentary and she's like, I'm gonna get an excuse. There's gonna be a reason we can do cheetahs.
They even say, someone's like, why cheetahs? And they're just like, I don't know, they're fast. I don't know. Fucking what? Just get them. Let's just get them. I don't know.
Jake doesn't allow us to do it for personal reasons, so I have to make up real reasons I needed a cheetah.
And so this mission, can we get into this mission now? This is actually kind of an insane mission to be doing without Jake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not just like, oh, another we heard about a plot, let's investigate. It's like, let's just kill Visser 3 today. That's the goal. Let's just kill him. It's like it's so weighty for an opening scene that it's almost too obvious that, oh, well, like, obviously something's gonna happen. Let's pivots from here.
Yeah.
But even
like, this is the climax to book 8.
Yes, right. But then in the universe here, it's like, what's the idea that Jake comes back and they're just like, oh, guess what? Visser 3's dead. We did it without you. We just did it. How'd you do it? Oh, cheetahs. We just got cheetahs this time. I should have thought of cheetahs. Damn. Good work.
Well, usually they don't know where he's feeding. So
yeah, what is
Tobias
that?
got lucky.
Fucking stupid. Too.
He got lucky.
How do they? How? I don't know. There's a lot of. This is
just
not the first
around.
bit of Yerk intel in the book that I'm questioning how they have it and.
There's a lot. I mean, to be fair, there is a long history of them having like background Yerk intel on the basis of Tobias has nothing to do all day but fly around. So he just gathers like, oh yeah, the other day I saw a Yerk over there, and what else was I gonna do?
But then, like, you're telling me this is the one time he got lucky? If you just hang out outside the fucking McDonald's, you're gonna see Visser 3's limo in it. You're gonna be able to follow him. He's not subtle. It can't be that hard to find his feeding spots.
Yeah, I don't know. Tobias normally is just going around meta. He's looking for a new price cut poly, and this time he found Visser 3.
All right. Okay. Okay. Garrotron now.
Oh boy, this Garrotron.
So, you understood, but I was hoping that the inside cover would show me a picture of this thing.
Yes, yeah, fair.
If I couldn't think of a better way to describe something while giving me absolutely no impression of what it actually looks like in my head. I could not figure out what the fuck this thing is supposed to be.
It looks like a Roadrunner dust cloud in a cartoon. You can't see it because it moves too fast.
Well,
it's just a blue blur.
You went Roadrunner, but the second I read Blue Fur, I went, this is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, fair. It is Sonic.
They literally, you just said it. They literally call it at one point in the book a blue blur. That is Sonic's nickname. They call him the Blue Blur in Sonic lore.
That's true. It is just Sonic the Hedgehog. From now on, Garrotrons look like Sonic the Hedgehog in my headcanon.
Did she just? I mean, it's 1999. Like, I don't. Sonic Adventure just came out on Dreamcast. Is she like? Kay Applegate see a commercial for that, and she's like, "Oh, I can put him in my book."
Yeah, I don't like how she describes it as being, it's basically just an Andalite, but more aerodynamic and without the blade. like if you're gonna give me this physically impossible animal, right, at least give me a fucking Mortron or something. Like, give me something wild. Like, this thing is boring other than the fact that it goes super fast. She should have just made it Sonic.
Weird. It should have just been a planet of blue hedgehogs. Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, you read the description before. It's impossible to comprehend. Like an ice cream cone on its side, but the cone was flattened. Huh?
It's kind of round in the back and very pointy in the front and like kind of flat. It's like a super aerodynamic. She also describes it as being like a motorcycle helmet, if that helps. You could think of that too. That
doesn't help.
That doesn't look like the ice cream cone thing, so,
whatever. She says it has a pigeon chest.
Yeah, that I didn't. I ignored that. I don't know what that means.
A pigeon chest, high and rounded.
It's like puffing out its chest like a bird.
Well, and she also, as she's describing it, says, it's talking about how fast it is, says that it's like a bullet fired from a 30-30, a hunting rifle. Now I'm like, wait a minute, does it look like a hunting rifle? Like, it's confusing from the get-go. Should I Google Garotron? Am I at risk of spoilers if I try to see a
No,
picture?
you are not at risk of spoilers
Okay,
if you
great.
Google Garotron, unless somebody is being very dumb.
Okay, so there is a some kind of fucking anime robot called, I believe it looks like it's a transformer called Garotron.
Of course.
I'm assuming it's a transformer. Yeah.
I don't know what this is, so.
Okay, here's a DeviantArt I found that just looks like a shitty Andalite with a stupid aerodynamic pointy head. Is what this one rendition of it.
I mean, that is basically what she described it.
Then just say it looks like an Andalite with a pointy head. Like, for fuck's sake, this is the most complicated description. An ice cream cone, it's fucking pointy. Just say, use the word pointy. Fuck off. Okay. Whatever. The Garotron.
Good. That's a good picture.
Well, just Google Garotron DeviantArt, listeners. You'll find it.
Yeah.
And so he's basically the health inspector. He's the guy coming in to be like, I'm gonna make sure things are up to snuff on Earth because I guess this is the fallout of Visser, right? Is that this is happening?
I guess. Like I don't know. I was thinking about that here. Is the council already passed judgment on Visser 3? So like what's he gonna do? He's gonna come in and be like, oh, Visser 3 didn't deal with the Andalite bandits. We already like the council already was like, for lying to us and not dealing with them, you have to go back and deal with, like, is he just here to be like, yep, still haven't been dealt, like what's he doing here? I don't know what he's doing.
I'm confused. Yeah, because it seems like he's not supposed to intervene. Like he's just there to evaluate him.
I guess.
At least that's the impression I got at the start.
Yeah, that's not unreasonable.
But then it's like, if this morph body is so good, why don't you send like a dozen of them, and why don't they just help kill him? Like, why isn't that just your plan from the start?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, there's something to be, like, maybe this is a new one. They don't have a lot. The thing is, though, he says this is a new species. He doesn't say, we got a Garotron and I'm in it. Like, he says this is a new species. So the assumption is there's going to be Garotrons all the fuck over the place now. Which, spoilers, there's not. And I remember even as a kid just being like, I guess Garotron, like, this is just what it is now. There's Garotrons or something? Is it going to come back?
Are these the new Hork-Bajirs?
Yeah, and I don't even know that they're that good at fighting, is the thing. Because, like, it's really hard to hit this guy. But, like, basically, he's, like, whipping back. He's not, like... It's the difference between getting hit with a whip and getting hit with a sword, is the difference between getting hit by this thing in a Hork-Bajir. Like, you're not necessarily losing to this just because you can't kill it. But, like, they are clearly better at, like, everything. Right? Like, they've got to have better reaction times. How could they not be better pilots than taxons? Right? How could they not be better just general workers? Maybe you need some Hork-Bajir for, like, pure muscle, but, like... The fact that these guys aren't just getting killed left and right by Andalites has got to matter.
It's a very weird... It also doesn't feel like... You did not need a Garotron for this plot. I mean, I guess you kind of do with what they decide to do. We'll talk about it. It's stupid.
I don't think you do. I don't think you need it. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's because she was thinking about fast stuff and she put a cheetah on the cover.
Well, you didn't need a Garotron. Sorry. The fact that he's like, it could have been just a council member.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Those two things I was overlapping in my head.
Although I should actually point out, you said that it's a council member.
Right.
He is an inspector for the council, but he does want to be a council member. he is planning on becoming one. And so he wants Visser 3 to call him Counselor 13, which implies to me that the Council of 13 has ranks, the same way Vissers do, which
Huh.
really upsets me. I don't like that.
I just thought he was like, I don't know, because I'm from maybe they're all called Counselor 13 or
The
something.
hide which one is the Emperor.
I don't know, but I did think that's also maybe fallout from Visser since a couple of them died. Maybe
Yeah, I
they're
was
like,
thinking about that too. Like, yeah,
yeah,
there's probably people are trying to like get in there, and I guess Visser 3 and Visser 1 ain't getting in.
which is yeah, right, which is kind of interesting to see that
Yeah.
happening. They reference a fair few old books in this, but not Visser directly, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it
then
is kind of strange.
they start to also make a thing about, oh, are they related to Andalites because they look a lot like them, but it doesn't. It just goes nowhere. There's no like
Yeah.
reveal. Oh yeah, they're Andalite offshoots, or it doesn't matter. They could
Yeah,
look like
it
anything.
it feels like it's covering a plot hole for nerds, right? Where it's like, wait, they look like Andalites. No, no, no. Some dumb nerd is gonna write a whole thing. No, no, they're not. It's don't worry about it. We better have the characters, otherwise people will be like, why didn't they question? As opposed to just being like, oh, maybe Axe could be like, it upsets me that they've taken a species that looks so much like us because I'm kind of a racist and that offends me more than them taking humans or something. That could be fun, but that's
Yeah,
not the same thing as yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But that's kind of in this next part because after they retreat from the Garrotron, right? They all kind of meet to discuss like, okay, what are we doing? There's a Garrotron, right? what are we gonna do? It's an Visser 3 is being inspected.
They're
What are
not
we
even
gonna?
phased by it anymore. They're just like, all right,
Yeah,
guys, there's a Garrotron now. What else
yeah,
is new?
yeah. Well, Visser 3 is being inspected. Jake's not here. What do we want to do about that? Now Rachel says this is the perfect time to like discredit Visser 3. Like, what if we just, this is her idea, what if we just attacked everywhere constantly and fucked everything up and it made him look real bad, right? And it made, in front of the
Mhm.
inspector. And and the others are like, I don't know, maybe we should wait for Jake. And Rachel's like, well, what if we like elected an interim leader, right? A temporary leader till Jake got back. And basically it's going to end up being her or Marco, right? Because Cassie is not a leader and Tobias is not about to lead anyone and Axe needs a leader to follow. So they're arguing about it and it gets heated and they're like, "Oh, we should put it to a vote." And Marco's like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna vote on like what? Axe is gonna abstain, and then what? Cassie, your best friend, and Tobias, your boyfriend, are gonna vote. Fuck it, you can be leader, whatever." So Rachel becomes the leader without a vote, and yeah, so now Rachel's in charge, and we also get a scene in her bedroom where she like contemplates her new great power and great responsibility.
Now this is interesting because we have discussed this on the podcast before.
Yes, yes.
Who would be second in command?
Hmm.
I can't remember exactly where we landed. I feel like I think we said it's probably between Rachel and Marco. I think
Hmm.
we probably landed on that.
Yeah.
Maybe this was part of the me and Rachel episode. I don't remember when we talked
I
about it,
think we
but
did. I also know that
oh, maybe it was
whatever.
like megamorphs when they were like disappearing one by one or something. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
I did know this book was coming, so like I do
Mm,
think I might not have fully
mm,
gotten into that conversation in the same way that you did. Like I probably
mm.
contributed, but was like I don't know because I got to think about
Holding
this book.
back.
Yeah, holding back a little. Now this is something that I've been looking for. Because I remember as a kid, one of the things about this book that bothered me is that I really didn't like in this book. Rachel is very gung ho about being the leader. Like she's like, I want to be the leader, like 100%. I want to be like the leader. I'm really like into it. And as a kid, I remember being like, was she ever like that before? Like, was
Mhm.
she? I don't remember her. Like, there's a kind of egoism here that's almost like I want to be the leader that didn't feel right as a kid. And so one thing I've been doing this read through is I've been trying to call attention to it every time in
Hmm.
any of these books. Rachel's been like, "Fuck it, I'm in charge now," and she has done that a fair number of times.
Okay, so so for you it's tracks.
I don't know that it tracks exactly, but I've been trying to pay attention to it. There is a history of like, Jake, like, them falling out of contact with Jake and them being like, "What do we do?" And Rachel say, "You're gonna do what I said. We're gonna do this now." Right? That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's happened
so
a couple times.
this will get more, I think,
Yeah.
egregious as we get further into the book, but
Mhm.
my impression of this is that it reads like the ghostwriter read The Separation and
Mhm.
didn't realize that Mean Rachel wasn't who Rachel is. This
I
book
yes.
reads like it's Mean Rachel to me.
I have two theories on that. Um
Okay.
they're not at odds with each other, but yes, there is a part later on where I began to suspect that, and I'll point out
Yeah,
like very
okay.
specific parts, but like there's a part here where I'm just like everything Rachel does in this book is something she either did as mean Rachel or on one occasion nice Rachel and never before that. Right? It really does. I agree with
Mhm.
you. I think the ghostwriter read The Separation in preparation for this book. She didn't know anything about Animorphs. She was like, fuck, I don't have time. They didn't give me time to write it. I got to read one Rachel book to prep so I know the character. I'll read the last one.
Was that the last Rachel book before
That was the
this?
last Rachel book. Yeah, it was 32 The Separation.
God, poor Rachel.
I know.
um yeah, I did not feel that she was really acting in character in this book. It feels flanderized, to use that term again, a little
Hmm.
bit. It's just is a little bit too much, but we'll see that more as we go. Okay, and
Hmm.
the whole second in command thing.
Yeah.
Uh I Axe is a pussy.
We already knew that, though. Axe just, like,
I
cannot.
guess.
Axe. Axe's fundamental flaw is that he cannot say no to authority,
It's just
even if it's
so
not real.
it's so lame that his line is I must decline to participate. This is a matter for you humans to decide. Like, and nobody pushes back on it. They're just like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Act. You've known him for long. He's been a part of this group for long enough. I feel like you should just make him choose. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
don't treat him like a child. Like he's a fucking person.
Yeah, I do feel like maybe that because like you could make the argument, no, we know him enough by now to know that he just isn't going to do that. That's just who he is. But there's also, I feel like there should be a part that's like, I know him well enough by now that I feel comfortable getting upset with him for being who he is. Where it's like, yeah, I
Right.
know you're always like that, Axe. It pisses me off. Stop fucking being like that and
Which
fucking make a
I
decision.
I feel like we would have gotten that kind of writing if this was like in the 20s. I feel like we used to
Mhm.
have that.
Yeah.
I remember that. At least it feels like I think I remember that level. Um I do like that the well, we'll keep on I don't know on this second in command thing. So
Yeah.
I'm with Marco. I'm on Marco's side. I
Yeah. Hmm.
like that he's just like, I see where this is going. Fuck this.
Yeah. Now, it's funny because I'm not sure he's right.
In what way?
I have a strong feeling Cassie would vote for
Mm.
Marco here,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I have a strong feeling that Tobias thinks that Marco should be in charge, but would vote for Rachel because he is also a pussy.
yeah. I think you're right. I also kind of think I kind of feel like maybe Tobias should be the guy.
Tobias won't be the guy. Remember in
Yeah.
book 30 when Jake was like, Tobias, you're in charge. Make sure that Marco doesn't do anything. And Marco was like, I'm going to make a deal with Visser 1 to kill Visser 3. And Tobias was like, all right, but Jake's not going to be happy about it. Like, he just won't.
That's
Maybe he
true.
should.
Yeah. I think they should make him.
They
It shouldn't
probably
be
should.
Rachel. It shouldn't fucking be Rachel. I
Yeah,
know.
no. Yeah. Somebody, I mean, maybe Cassie should have been like, no,
Yeah.
Marco, you don't get to just say we're not having a vote and it's Rachel. We're
Right.
having a vote,
Well,
Marco.
look, I mean, I guess this really does drive the point home that this group just fucking collapses without
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah. Yeah. And at what point do you say, like, okay, we took a vote, but like it's for a temporary leader, so we can just do another vote if something fucks up?
Well, yeah, they literally
We'll get to
laid,
that too.
yeah, we'll get to that. The plan, I also just think it's so funny how quickly we pivot from opening scene. we're gonna
Mhm.
kill Visser 3.
Yeah.
Okay, main plot of the book, let's just make him look kind of stupid. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the second best plan. Let's just make him look bad.
And
That's
can we talk about this for a second? Because when Rachel brings up this plan, Marco says, "Are we sure that's a good idea? Because if Visser 3 gets like discredited in the eyes of the council, they'll send somebody else, and we don't know if that person like Visser 3 is kind of incompetent. Maybe we want him in charge. Why are you trying to kill him?" And you know what? I feel like Jake is not consistent on this issue
right.
either. Like Jake has on occasion expressed ideas of like maybe it's better that Visser 3 is in charge. Maybe we should take the opportunity to kill him. They as a group are not 100% decided on whether they want Visser 3 in charge of this invasion or not. And thus the assassination mission really should not have been carried out without Jake's approval. Like they don't
yeah.
even know if they want to.
Yeah. It's what a terrible. It really is insane.
And when Marco brings up this objection, Cassie's like, "You make a good point, but I do want to hear Rachel out." And Rachel says, "What if we just busted everything with no end in sight?" And Marco says, "I like it, but we should have Jake here to implement it." Like he doesn't say that does not address my fundamental concern here, Rachel. That's stupid. Which, maybe he should.
Yeah, like there's a to a point you can say that it's intentional that they're lost and leaderless, but
Mhm.
to another point, it's like, come on,
Yeah.
somebody should be objecting to this at some point. This is the things that they do. Jake is gone for an hour, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Fuck, kill Mister 3. I don't know what the fuck do we do." Like, go ask Eric for help, right? Like
Yeah.
you're short a man. At least get another guy, even if you don't have to like make him the leader or anything. But like, get some backup or something. Some God, what the
Yeah, I
fuck?
mean, Eric could do really well here because like they could go to Eric and be all like, "Listen, we want to cause as much havoc as possible, but Rachel's in charge and she's probably going to end up like murdering everybody. So maybe you should come along to help make sure that everybody doesn't get murdered. We're going to wreck because we just want to wreck things." And then Eric would totally
That's
show up
right.
to watch their back and make sure they don't get killed with Rachel being wild and crazy.
And Eric is
I don't know.
like, but think of the property.
No, that's true. Eric loves property.
Yeah. Then they also have this kind of
Yeah.
monologue from inner monologue from
Yeah.
Rachel, which is more introspection than I'm used to from a POV
Yeah.
character in an Animorphs book. It's like it's quite a lengthy few pages of her looking inward at herself,
Yeah.
even if it is clear that she's delusional.
I was thinking about this part too because Rachel spends a amount of time like being like, "Do you know what hubris is? Let me tell you about hubris and how I
Yes.
learned about it in my English class." And I started thinking like she's referencing Oedipus Rex. Right off the bat, she references the Bible. There's a bit later where she's like saying Marco has a Hamlet complex, which like
Right.
I wasn't even sure exactly what that meant. That is not a phrase. That involves like interpretation of the work, and it really felt like this ghostwriter is like really
Ah.
into like lit. Like they in the way that Kay Applegate wants to write a series about animal facts, she wants to write a series about like literature facts so the kids will get into reading or something.
Right.
It felt
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't put all those together, but there is something strange going on there. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
did
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. No,
funny.
no, no, keep
The
going.
hubris thing is funny. That's all.
Yeah.
That she's
No,
just like, oh, hubris. It's like people like me that are smart.
yeah. No, I loved her interpretation of hubris. That part I thought was legitimately really good. It's probably my favorite part of the book. As opposed to being like some people think that they're greater than the gods and they're wrong and that's why they fail and it's a tragedy. She's like some people think that they're greater than the gods, like me, and they're right. But they will be punished for it, just as I will be punished for being greater than the gods. That's the natural end to those of us who are in this tragic role.
Which I guess again is maybe a little bit bordering on me and Rachel still, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
you
yeah, it's
know.
not. I could see that to me feels more like a character progression that book 27 Rachel might be going through. Whereas, like,
Mhm.
I was gonna punch Axe for being annoying. That's mean Rachel right there.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah. Well, I did want to touch briefly on Tobias and Rachel, because Rachel
Mhm,
does talk
mhm,
here a little bit. She says at some point she has like strong feelings for him, like they were like inevitable feelings from even before she met him, and it
mhm.
feels very like teenage girl romantic. But then she refers to him as a friend and says, "Well, Tobias is my friend, and I know he loves me," which is just like,
Huh.
oof, oof.
That's funny because I didn't read it that way. I was just like, oh wow, they used the word love. That's so it's real.
Yeah,
But
Rachel
yeah,
doesn't say that she loves him. She says
she
Tobias
no,
loves me, and he's my friend.
she does. That is what she said. Oh my
I just
god,
poor Tobias.
dear God, brutal. Woo,
Right?
damn.
Just thought I should bring that up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's that's the closest in the book that Rachel gets to any kind of uh I don't know, like sentimentality towards
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
It's pretty yeah. Okay. God, that's a relationship that sure could be explored
I know, right? Wouldn't it be good?
in a more in a more adult as in not
Yeah.
as in adult.
I mean,
But in a
this is the problem is that you have two characters and their relationship is interesting specifically because they're both so like emotionally disconnected from themselves that they're incapable of having it. Like this doesn't write well as a teenage story. Like as a teenage story,
mhm.
this is just going to be like a bunch of people being like, "Oh, it's so romantic because they're star-crossed," and then never actually explore the issues, or it's going to be nothing. And either way, it's going to be nothing. But like, there's something there that could be very interesting.
The question is, well, again, like, how much of that is intentional?
Yeah,
What's there?
fair. But I
Are,
feel
can
like a
we?
lot of it is. I feel like Kay Applegate has a lot of good ideas that she is very intentional about, but then she never follows through on any of them.
I think you're probably right. The problem is just that so many of them are feel like they're hinted at and never
Hmm.
explicitly said. That I am constantly like. I mean, even in this case, I
Hmm.
mean, especially in this case, maybe this is probably one of the more egregious ones. It's like, is this? Are they trying to say Rachel doesn't love Tobias, or did they just write this in an awkward way?
Yeah, especially
Which,
since I don't know that this ghostwriter knows who Rachel is.
yeah, so there is that. But oh
Yeah,
well. Sorry, Rach. Sorry, Tobias. Sucks for
yeah.
you.
Sorry, Tobias. Do we want to get into Rachel's plan?
Yeah, you
Or are
mean
you
the
good on
next
this section?
40% of the book? Is that what you mean?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
ahead.
So Rachel's plan obviously was to fuck everything up, just attack everywhere all at once to make him look bad. And so they start off their series of attacks bright and early in the morning on the WKVT TV station, which they know is like Yerk controlled media. And right off the bat, Marco is like, "Should we like infiltrate first to see what's up, see like what's going on?" And Rachel is like, "I'm the fucking leader. You do what I say." So they go in without infiltrating, just in battle morphs. They bust into the TV station and they fuck everything up. They're tearing shit up. There's like a tour group in there. And it probably would have been better to know there were civilians around, but it's probably fine. Um, then next after they're done tearing this place apart, they go and they cause havoc and this is the one they spend a bunch of time in. But after this, they go cause havoc in a series of other places. Would you like to hear the places they go tear up?
Yeah, sure. Let's go through the list. It's
Okay,
basically a montage.
yeah, they tear up a Yerk owned bookstore. They tear up a beauty salon named Stylerific. They rip up all that sporting goods. They destroy a bank. They destroy a tobacconist's shop. Don't know the word tobacconist, but I know what that is. They wreck Fred's Fitness Center on Peach Street, which isn't Yerk owned, but does have Yerks working there as personal trainers. Uh, they destroy a Kinko's, where Rachel sexually assaults a minor. They destroy a law firm. They destroy a judge's private chambers in a courthouse, and they wreck Phil's hardware. They say the only places they didn't go that they know of are the Gap and the police station because they didn't want the death of a real hardworking human cop on their hands. That's a direct quote. Anyway, every place they tear up, Rachel specifically speaks to the Yeerk in charge and is like, "I have a message for Visser 3, go home," or whatever.
Okay, is that's everything? That's it?
That's well, there's going to be one more attack after this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that is a large chunk of the book is them just continuously wrecking shit. And sometimes you don't even realize they moved from location to location. They're like, "Yeah, we went into the beauty salon to start messing things up, and then I just started destroying all the tennis rackets." And you're like, "The fuck are those doing?" Oh, there was a sentence here that said they moved to the sporting goods store. Missed it.
Well, okay. Yeah, I was gonna real quick. I was gonna ask. I forgot. Do you think we can say these kids are 15 at this point,
Probably.
or is that? Yeah,
They're probably close. If they're not 15, they're close.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. Okay. I just wanted. We were talking about the ages. Okay, that's fine. So there's so many things. There's so many things going on here.
Sure are.
I don't know where to begin.
Would you like to hear all the Yeerks that we meet who get named?
If you'd like to read them.
Well, there's the Yeerkish TV personality Christine Kaminsky and another TV personality Bobby Baranski, who might not be Yeerk. There's also known controller Tacit from the sporting goods store, which that might be where Visser 1 went in book 30, not sure. The bank manager is Arthur Arundel. The personal trainers at the gym are Kirk and Kristen. The judge is named Judge Sally Forensic, and she's the judge from book 17 when Rachel was in the Yeerk pool and met some law Yeerk who was like, "Oh, I got to get out of here and go to my trial. I don't want to be down here in Visser 3."
Whoa.
And we also meet Phil from Phil's Hardware. Those are the named Yeerks.
I was reading this wondering, am I supposed to, well, at least in the beginning, they act like I'm supposed to know about WKVT TV. That I'm supposed to be like, oh, it's our favorite news anchor, Christine McGinky or whatever the fuck her name is. Like, yeah. I'm like, were these like, is this the show Jeremy Jason McCall went on or something? Like, am I supposed to know what the fuck this is?
I was wondering, maybe that is one of the TV shows that one of their guys went on, but I don't remember the name Christine Kaminsky. And I checked book 30 for the name Tacit, and the Control F found nothing in my PDF. So I guess maybe I missed it.
Yeah, all of these things brings me back to the point earlier about how did we just have this intel about Visser 3 and his feeding grounds. How long have they known, oh yeah, we have just a list of every Yeerk run business in a 30-mile radius? Like, presumably the Chi could know that, but this is not something they ever talk about, ever. They have never brought this kind of shit up before or acted on it in any way. So why now?
That's interesting, because I feel like Tobias has in the past said that what he does all day is follow human controllers to find new things. So I had assumed that every time he found something, they just listed it down and they were like, okay, found a Yeerk, works as a personal trainer in that gym. What are we going to do about that? We can't deal with every Yeerk. Put it on the list. We know about it. And that this has just been accumulating. You do make a point, though. Why doesn't Eric just tell them, all of them?
Yeah, that's what I feel like Tobias hasn't said that since book 8. Like, that's not a thing they taught. You don't ever really find out what the fuck Tobias is doing all the time.
Yeah. Or at least, I don't think he did in season 3. Like, maybe in season 2, but.
And, it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like maybe you could have been doing something with this info. It's so much all at once. And they keep going to more places. And this is the part of the book where I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Yeah. Because it just keeps going.
Yeah, it is a whirlwind of chaos. The entire book is a whirlwind of chaos.
It's madness. And on top of that, there's the whole other issue thing I have an issue
Yeah.
with. Now, look, I don't know. It's hard to keep track of exactly what the policy is on this. I hope maybe you can fill me in, but I think they're kind of trying to keep a low profile most of the time. It
Well,
seems
that's
like
when Jake's here, when Rachel's in charge.
like it seems like they typically have agreed we won't let the world know about this
Yeah.
invasion. They're literally the first thing they do is invade a TV station with Axe as an Andalite. Never once do they bring up
Yeah.
nobody's like, "Hey, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
There's a TV camera that might see him?
That's true. That there's civilians who are not Yerk infested in there, and at no point is it ever like, oh, they saw Axe.
Yeah, they don't give
Like
a
Axe has to
shit.
fight people, but I guess
And
they're Yerk guards, and it's
they're
fine.
also using thought speak like all over the place. I
Yeah,
guess maybe they're only giving it to
they might be private,
controllers.
but they are talking to the controllers. That's
No,
not normal.
at
Like they
one
try to
point,
keep that to a minimum.
Marco
Oh yeah,
100%
yeah,
communicates to a normal person
yes,
as a
yeah. He
gorilla.
just starts like joking around with the kid, and the kid gets upset.
So like again, I like how much of this maybe you could say, oh, it's because Jake is gone, like it's intentional, but it just feels like the
Yeah,
sloppiest shit.
yeah,
It's just what the
yeah.
fuck's happening?
There's a lot of stuff in here that like you can sort of tie into this greater theme, but like it feels like maybe you're giving it too much credit if you do.
Yeah, I have one note, I just wrote, this sucks. And that's, I think, was just during the news station. That was before
Yeah.
we got to the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, there are some moments in here with them keeping a low like, you're talking about them keeping a low profile. There is a bit where they're walking around as humans between attacks, and, like, random people walking around town are on edge, because of course everyone is aware that there are animal attacks happening everywhere. Like, everyone is aware this is happening. And, like, they make a point of this, because Rachel sees some random people walking past them being nervous and goes, boo! To try to scare them, because she thinks it's really funny.
That part made me think of like this is like when Peter Parker gets the black Spider-Man suit. Like he like this like she's in her like mean era. Like it's like what are you
Yeah.
doing? This is crazy. I don't know what I'm
Black
supposed
suit
to
Rachel. Oh man, now I'm imagining that scene with Rachel. Now that's great.
Yeah, she's
Sam
dancing down the street.
Sam Raimi Animorphs 3.
Ooh, yeah, that's what I
Hell
want.
yes.
I mean, like, and also some of the writing in this book, when they start wrecking a bookstore,
Hmm.
and Cassie is upset about it. She says bookstores are like church or something.
Yeah.
Shut up. This is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so badly phrased.
That whole section felt like it was because they keep describing the sections of the bookstore and the stuff. It felt like this
Oh.
was like fan service for the nerd shut-in kid. It's like, oh, you know
Yes.
this place, don't you? You probably spend all your time down here and spend it instead of hanging out
Yes.
with your friends. Yeah, eat it up, little pig. Eat the
I'm
fucking.
surprised.
You love this bookstore. You love it. It's like church. They're wrecking it. Imagine next time you sit there all alone. Marco's over there. Wouldn't that make your life so much better if Marco were here?
I'm honestly, they end by saying like, go after the intermediate section. I'm surprised there wasn't some dumb joke about like, oh, watch out for those books with the animals on the cover or some. Like, it feels like we're
Yeah.
approaching that
Yeah.
point. Also, here's another just a small detail that threw me. Cassie says she has a niece.
Oh, yeah, there's a note about it on Seropedia, I remember. Um,
I okay.
Cassie is definitively an only child, and Seropedia speculates she means her cousin's kid, and is using niece in that way.
Okay, sure, which no one has ever done, but okay, fine. At least I can rest easy at night, not wondering about Cassie's mysterious siblings who are much older than her.
Yeah, yeah. This is not the only Cassie moment in here that bothers me. I don't remember where it is. I might as well just talk about it now, because fuck it, it's not important. There is a part in this book where Cassie says she has a secret love of the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich. And you know what? we spent so much time speculating on if she was a vegetarian, and I was like, I'm pretty sure
Oh
she's not because
shit!
I think she eats a burger.
I didn't even
And then we
think
got to the
about
book where I
that.
thought she ate a burger, she didn't eat the burger. And you know what? I'm not buying it. I'm not going to go back and be like, "No, I was right because I remembered the fillet of fish." No, I think that Cassie, it's not explicit, but I think she's a vegger. I think she's a veg head.
Well, maybe
And
she's a
I think this ghostwriter fucked
pescatarian.
it up.
She only eats fish.
Cassie fucking wept over a termite. She is not privileging mammals above fish. She doesn't think that fish are less worthy than human beings.
I guess that would explain why she says it's a secret love. Because I was like,
Hmm.
huh? Like, why are you? That's weird. But,
Hmm. Yeah, that could be.
uh, yeah, she's like, this is when Cassie's really depressed. She's like, cries and secretly gets a fillet of fish. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, fish. I'm
I'm so
sorry.
sorry, fish. But you taste so good.
Um, yeah,
Marco's also
that's.
kind of a little thief. There's
Oh
like
yeah,
2 points in this where he wants to steal
he's
something.
trying to steal some sneakers or something.
Yeah, there's a good thing where he's like, "Ooh, I like these," and somebody's like, "Put them down, Marco."
Property damage, okay, but we draw the line at theft.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt any of the good, honest, hardworking cops in the town.
We did wreck like what do you think? What do you think you're doing? Like, what's the
Yeah,
difference between taking things and
yeah,
destroying things?
yeah.
I guess it's for personal
Fucking
gain, so that's the line. But whatever. Okay. You mentioned Kirk and Kristen, which I think is
yeah.
should be kind. I feel like that's maybe up in the pantheon with Juan and Terry and the rest.
They are important. Um,
And these are
yeah.
the ones, as you mentioned, uh, who get sexually harassed,
Oh no, that was the
right?
guy at Kinko's who got sexually. Oh no, they get sexually harassed too. I
One of
forgot
them
about
also
them.
gets sexually harassed. One of them
Yeah,
does.
Axe
Kirk.
cuts off their gym shorts in front of all of their clients.
Oh, they both do. Yeah, cut with
Yeah,
his tail blade,
with his tail
cuts
blade. Yeah.
down their gym shorts and
So
exposes them.
wait, so then Axe definitely was in front of all their clients.
Yeah.
They saw Axe.
Yes.
I
I'm just remembering now. We better go back to it. That someone on Reddit said they were
oh
defending this book.
I have that. I pasted it
Okay,
into my
good.
notes, so I
Okay,
don't
good.
have to find it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good,
We'll
good,
get
good,
to it
good,
at
good.
the end.
Okay, great.
Um, but no. Let's talk about the 17-year-old Kinko's manager. They explicitly say he is 17 years old and goes to their high school. That Rachel, as a bear, picks up, pulls down his pants, puts him down on the photocopier, photocopies his butt, then posts pictures of it around his workplace and sends them to his boss. But there is no way to slice this in which that is not sexual assault of a minor. I'm sorry. Like, this is not to mention the fact that the kid does have a yerk in him. Like, at what point does he say, if an Andalite were trying to humiliate me as a yerk, they would not think to photocopy my butt and send it to my boss. Right? They would do something to humiliate me, but that is such an esoteric human behavior. Like, there's no
Oh
way.
God.
It's so
Yeah,
dumb.
it's yes. I mean,
And
it's
all
not
of these things, like, these all happen one after another. Just like boom, boom,
yes.
boom, boom, boom. All the things we're saying.
Yeah, it's just a whirlwind of bullshit. Like just imagine again Semi-Charmed Life playing. Well, this all happens in a movie. Yeah, no, that the
uh,
Xerox thing is so weird. I mean, what do you expect from a series where they just casually joke about the mentally ill and suicide like and stuff, but it feels like a very egregious unnecessary line
yeah.
to cross.
Yeah.
But I'm going looking back through this now and back to the point about Cassie. Another line I highlighted that I hated was she finds a tennis racket and says, "This had better not be cat gut."
Because Cassie loves animals.
Yeah. I don't think I should need to say that's not what cat gut is.
I mean, yes, you're right.
So
Listen, I first learned what catgut is because I didn't
from
get the joke in a
Garfield.
Garfield comic, and I had
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. But like, is the joke that she doesn't know, or does the author, is it a joke for the reader to be like, haha, I know what it really is? Or it's stupid from every
Yeah.
possible angle. I
You're
hate
right.
it.
You're right. Cassie likes
This
animals. I don't
it's
know. Yeah, it's dumb.
everything in this entire section just is
Yeah.
baffling. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And
There
it goes
there
on
are
forever.
it goes on forever. Yeah. And there are some sections in here that could be like something on the like Rachel leadership tack, right? Like there's things here that sort of like try, you can see this is kind of like a Jake book by proxy, where it's about the role of leadership and it's about Rachel's character and how they don't fit. Because like there are things here that like work really well for that, but they're just never directly remarked on, and they should be if that's what you're trying to explore thematically. Like, so the big one here is that Rachel, unlike Jake, never listens to her team, right? Like in these books, or in this book, Rachel will say, let's do it. And then they'll say, well, wait a second, shouldn't we do X? And Rachel will be like, you wouldn't question Jake, would you? And it's like, actually, they would. They do it all the time. Like, it's very common that Jake will be like, let's do X. And Marco will be like, wait a second, I got another idea. Or maybe Rachel will be like, X is too slow. We got to bust in and kill everybody. And Jake will just turn around and be like, you know what? You're right. Like part of Jake's
Yeah.
good leadership is his ability to use his people for their strengths and his ability to like listen to them and know when to give in and when not to, which Rachel cannot do. And that's an interesting thematic idea. It is present. It's never really remarked on or I don't know. Explored, is that the right word? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Rachel is stupid. Rachel sucks. I hate Rachel now.
Oh,
Good job.
I'm gonna make you like her again. I figured I'd wait until the end of the next section to bring it up, but
Oh, okay, sure. I can't, well, I mean, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I'm done with this section, but
Okay. Okay.
you know, correct about
Uh,
everything you
I'm,
said.
yeah, I'm gonna make you like it eventually. All
Okay.
right. Once we finish this. So, okay. So Rachel's like she's the next part. She's like on top of the world, right? She's like, yeah, everything's going great. We fucked everything up just like I wanted and everything went great. But then things start not going so good. So, first they see a TV report because of course all of their attacks are on the news all over the place. So they see a TV report that there's this old guy at the TV station in the like group of tourists who had a heart attack and died when he saw all the animals coming through. So, feel a little responsible for him, maybe. Um,
Sure.
but, with whatever, they've got one more attack they're going to do today. Yes, I know we just did fucking a million attacks. We got more. Rachel has one more she wants to do. She wants to attack the community center where Tobias got tortured in book 33. Um, so they're outside the community center. There's a bunch of like high-ranking Yerks meeting there, because obviously shit's been going down, so they have to have a meeting. And the Animorphs outside, they're thinking, they're probably expecting us at this point, right? After we did all of that. You think maybe there's like hidden Hork-Bajir ready to jump us, or like maybe Visser 3's hiding in there? And do we even need to do this after we fucked up a dozen other places? And Rachel's like, well, no, of course we're going to go in and attack. Why wouldn't we go in and attack? And Cassie and Mark are like, listen, we're not going to go in without infiltrating the place first. And Rachel is like, fuck infiltrating, okay? We're attacking. We're not going to look around. We're just going to go in there and attack. I'm the leader. You don't question the leader, right? Would you question Jake? You wouldn't question Jake, wouldn't you? No, I don't think you would. So we're just going to go in there and attack. How dare you even suggest that we infiltrate? And Tobias is like, she's right. So, so Rachel's like, listen, we'll all go in as polar bears for maximum firepower. And they all turn into polar bears and attack this meeting.
As we
Um,
all know, polar bears are maximum firepower.
right.
That's maximum.
That's maximum. So they go in, and it's looking good until the Garrotron, the inspector, the Garrotron
Uh-oh.
shows up. Yeah, and he starts kicking all their asses. And with the Garrotron there, they all start getting shot and attacked by the humans and attacked by the Hork-Bajir. And it's a disaster. And Visser 3 shows up and he morphs a big fat thing. Um, they say it has gray rolls of fat, quote, like pudding dumped from a bowl. It's 8 feet tall with eyes like tiny rotted raisins, and it smells like a sewer full of corpses.
Reminds me of someone I know.
Same. Anyway, they have to retreat. Everything's all fucked up and they have to retreat. There's actually a point in here about polar bears not offering them flexibility. They should have all been different things, but whatever. They have to retreat because they're getting fucked up. And Rachel's like, you guys get on out of here and I will single-handedly hold off Visser 3. And they're like, whatever. They all do it. They all jump out the window and they're safe because the Yeerks are in the building, not outside. So they jump out the window so they're safe. And Rachel tries to fight Visser 3. She can't fight him. So she also retreats by jumping out the window and is thus safe because they're outside now, so it's safe. But they're not all safe because Cassie didn't make it out. Cassie has been captured. Okay. Let's talk about this disaster.
Okay. Rachel's lost her damn mind at this point. Just completely. Yep. Like, any justification you can make for the first half of this book, it's just, she's insane now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely lost it.
Over the line, insane. Like, beyond just, this is not book 27 Rachel. Book 27, like, the Rachel that you think of would be like, yeah, we go in and attack. And they'd be like, we have to infiltrate. And she'd be like, fine, we'll infiltrate. But then we attack. This Rachel is pissed off at the idea of thinking ahead at all. Like, the idea of a plan makes her offended and angry. And so this is where I got my idea.
Yeah.
So here's what I think happened.
Okay.
At the end of book 32, the two Rachels acquire each other and morph each other while Eric electrocutes them so that they recombine. On Axe's orders, we don't know why he said to do this. Axe was mistaken, and although Eric thinks they recombined, actually he accidentally vaporized nice Rachel. This Rachel is mean Rachel. There is no nice Rachel.
Whoa.
This whole book, all that's left is mean Rachel.
That would be a great, that's the like twist ending after the first book, right before credits. Like, we did it, and then Rachel has a little grin.
Yeah.
You remember that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Not
this
really.
Is good. We haven't gone on that many tangents, so I should talk about
That's true. Yeah. Tell me about because I don't really remember individual episodes of that show that well.
Well, there's one, I don't remember that very well either, to be honest, but there's one that has stayed with me for a while, which is when it starred Tia and Tamara Mowry. You know them.
Mm-hmm. I do know them.
Tamara? I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it.
I always said Tamara. I thought that's how they said it in the commercials, but then maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Probably correct. And I don't remember like the premise or like how it happens, but there's one of them plays like the evil twin, basically. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, at the end of the episode, they vanquish the evil twin. But then you find out, no, it was the good one. And the way you find out, I couldn't tell you anything else that happens in this episode. But like the evil weird thing that the evil twin does is she like reaches into a fish tank and just picks out a goldfish and just like swallows it, like eats a live goldfish. And that has just left an imprint in my mind of like what that would be like to feel just a goldfish going down your gullet.
Oh, that's good.
So anyway, yeah, me and Rachel, I think, did something like that. She swallowed a fillet of fish.
But yeah, I was thinking that here. I was like, this entire book makes sense and is perfectly in character if nice Rachel died. Like, that's like... Totally. This is exactly what Mean Rachel did. This Rachel cannot plan ahead. This like she gets pissed off. She wants to punch Axe for annoying her, right?
Yeah.
All she can think of is violence. She wants to be in charge, and she hates the idea that Jake might be able to ever tell her what to do. There's a part later where she's like freaking out about her like position, and Axe is like disgusted with her because it's not very leader like behavior that to want to just say like fuck it, I give up. Yeah, where's your sense of duty, Rachel? Did it maybe die in book 32? I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
like
think
it.
I
I like
just
this
think
theory.
maybe this is just mean Rachel.
I think you're onto something. It's a better explanation than anything else.
Yeah. And plus it lets me headcanon that Eric killed someone.
Piece of shit. Fucking Eric.
Uh,
All right. Okay. Now that aside,
yeah.
I have another theory about this book.
Okay.
Just a general theory. I guess I could save this for the end. I'm going to say it now because this is where I wrote in my notes too.
Sure.
I don't think the outline was very well thought out.
I could imagine.
I think the reason the scene of them fucking up stores lasted for 50 pages is because there weren't a lot of other things in the outline. And this
fair.
ghostwriter was like, I guess that happens for a while, huh? Okay. I got a page count to meet. And that kind of happens 3 or 4 times. A lot of scenes in this book are like, is this still going? We're still in this part? This old man had a heart attack.
Yes. The old man had a heart attack.
Which is very... In that scene earlier, they see the old man and Rachel says, oh no, an old man. What if he could have had a heart attack? Oh, he did. It turns out that's correct. They just figured that out.
And out of all the things to be... Because they're going to like make a big deal about it. And it's like, oh no, an old man had a heart attack because he saw an animal. Like, how many fucking Hork-Bajir, innocent Hork-Bajir have you slaughtered?
Seriously.
Joy in tearing their throats out.
In this book, in the same scenes.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, there must be hundreds of casualties of the Animorphs. Human and Hork-Bajir and other species as well.
They should have at least, like, actually killed him. Like, they should have at least been like, he got hit by flying debris or something, as opposed to, like, he had a heart attack because he saw the scary animals. Like, make them, like, for real responsible if you're going to do that.
What a lame... Yeah, it's a cop-out. It's really like, oh, well, we can't have it be too... What if someone maybe doesn't like the character after that? Oh, yeah, because we like her as she is.
Oh, yeah. Rachel, people who like Rachel as their favorite character are going to love this series as she descends into madness and becomes a violent psychopath. Yeah, I love what you did to her, but don't make her kill an old guy.
No. That poor old man.
I know.
This is the fillet of fish part.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, I see it.
I also like that the X calls them greasy fried flesh treats.
I don't remember that. That's good.
Or I don't know if he specifically... it's right after the fillet of fish part. He might just be thinking of something else, but it is good.
Yeah. The whole thing is just so chaotic, and all of it is so stupid when you put even the slightest bit of thought. Like annotating this, it's like, okay, they escaped, and as I was saying, it's like they escaped. How? They jumped out the window, and now they're out the window, so they're safe. This isn't the first time it's happened, but I feel like every time something like that happens, it's pretty clear that the writer wasn't trying. Like in the David trilogy, when they escaped out the window, it was specifically like, we're in a suburban neighborhood, and Visser 3 is like, I do not want to run legions of Hork-Bajir out into a suburban neighborhood or something like that, and I already basically have what I want. Like, there's some explanation given here, as opposed to just like, some polar bears jumped out the window of the community center. They control the grounds. Like, they can't just open the door?
Everything that happens is just, you're not supposed... They don't want you to think about it at all. It's just, this happens, they get away by doing this, that's just what happened.
Yeah.
They did it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They did it.
They got
I,
away, but not Cassie. Rachel,
right.
Visser 3 turned into a monster. Rachel tried to fight it. The
Yeah.
Garrotron was there. They photocopied a kid's ass.
And-
Like, there's just a list of things that happen.
Also, I don't even think it makes sense from the beginning either, because like for the whole plan, Marco is right that obviously this is like, we should quit while we're ahead and this is too dangerous. But
hmm
but why wouldn't the Garrotron and Visser 3 have shown up at any of the first 24 places they hit? Like, why is it so certain this is when now they're going to know we're coming? They didn't know after a bunch of animals
Yeah.
attacked a Yeerk on TV? Like, why? You should have been like, this is reckless
Yeah.
for time number 2.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit worse here because like this is a major Yeerk like control hub as opposed to just a Yeerk owned business, and
Right.
so like and they specifically are like there's a bunch of high ranking controllers like here for a meeting, so there's something worse about this one. But like yeah, at a certain point it's like how many Yeerk owned businesses are there? You don't think that they're gonna start pulling up and be like, one of these times we're gonna get unlucky. Maybe they can't put guys in all of them, but they can put guys in some of them. And if we hit enough, we're gonna hit one of those. Like they're gonna do that.
Yeah. But that was fine.
Yeah, like you're basically right, but
Semi-Charmed Life was still playing then, so they knew nothing could hurt them.
yeah,
It's now that this music stopped and they have to
Yeah.
think and breathe for a second. Here's a portion that occurs. I shoved a human controller aside and watched as his head bounced off the edge of a small table. He slid unconscious to the floor. To my right, Cassie smashed the head of one human controller against the head of another.
Note that these are polar bears doing this.
So, I feel so bad about that old man, but bonk, bonk, smash, smash, slam, slam. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
These people, like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
Yeah, and these problems are so egregious that I basically had all these same problems as a kid. Like this was not like as a kid I was like, oh, I don't know, it was just a fun romp. Like as a kid, I do remember just being like I couldn't have expressed it in these terms, but it was just like I don't care about the old man. Wait, what happened? I just read a bunch of chapters and don't remember what happened. Wait, Rachel's acting weird and out of. I don't understand why Rachel's acting like this. Like I didn't know how to say that, but all those feelings were there.
Yeah. It's obvious to anyone who reads it.
Yeah.
There's also a part where Axe, when they're making the plan, Marco is like, I don't know about this, and Axe is like, shut up, Marco. Right? Like he scolds him.
Yeah, I don't even remember, but I think you're right. There's something like that.
I don't remember exactly what he says, but it also felt out of character to me. It was just like strange the way he was so ready to be like, Marco, like be on your best behavior. It's like, what? Just nobody feels right in this book. It's bizarre.
I do think this is the most right Axe has ever felt while making tons of TV show references, because he makes some but not a ton, and he still keeps that like very straight-laced stuck up Andalite persona. He's not in character in this book, but he's more in character than he was in 35 or 28.
There's a couple good these messages in there.
yeah, there's a couple good these messages. There's a part where Axe had to watch a dessert show or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Tobias was late because there was a cooking show. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's
Making
right.
a Cinnabon or something.
Okay. So then they recoup.
Yeah.
Well.
So they got to figure out what to do because Cassie has been captured, right, as we recall. Everyone's
you know what?
mad
This is where this happened. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Everyone's mad at Rachel. She at first she's like, I didn't do anything wrong, so how was I supposed to know? And then they keep yelling at her, and she switches into like, fine, I fucked everything up. I'm a failure. Let Marco be the leader, and she storms off crying, and which should be setting off alarm bells. And Marco comes out and is like, okay, listen, Rachel, here's the thing. I should have been leader before when we needed a plan, but like Cassie has like an hour and 15 minutes left or some shit. And like so there is no time for a plan. There's no time to do anything smart. We need to do something reckless and stupid. And so you got to be you got to be leader. There's no one else who can be leader here but you. Um and so Rachel is still the leader and they whatever. And so they're like, how are we going to get in? Tobias knows of a new entrance to the Yerk pool. It's a new empty office building called the Bean Tower, which is near the McQueen building, which apparently they were at earlier today. And the Yerks have been flying cloaked ships in through the building. And so they need a plan to get in. And we'll talk about that plan to get in a moment. But let's talk about Rachel still being leader before we get to that, because it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they really, in every cop movie where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, the cop who, doesn't play by the book. And
Mhm.
then what happens is, oh, he's off the force, and then like he spends the movie having to kind of do whatever he does, and then at the end someone's like, I didn't like your methods before, but we actually need someone like you. They fast track that basically.
Mhm.
That's basically what happens
Yeah.
to Rachel. Is Marco's like, we need you from after we just did the thing that was bad. You need to do it again right now.
Yeah. And that would resonate better if that thematic idea of like how Jake uses people for their skills for leadership were more present,
Hmm.
because like there is some of that in this here, the way Margot talks about it, where he's not like, well, sometimes it's good. He's like, no, you were bad. What you did was bad. You should not have done it. But there is a time and a place for me and a time and a place for you. And so like you could resonate that back to this idea of like what makes Jake a good leader is because he knows what Rachel's time and place is. He knows what Marco's time and place is, and he keeps them in check. But like, that's again, this feels like me trying to save it rather than like something that's here.
Yeah, that's not something that I thought about while I was reading it. When you said it, I was like, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't expect it to be something you thought about while you were reading it.
Yeah, this is also the part when Marco's fighting where he's like yelling at Rachel because it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
yell, she deserves it.
yeah, she does deserve it.
And Axe says, Marco, that is enough, unproductive, and enough. It just is
Yeah,
like, what? Where does that come from? It didn't feel like Axe would. Almost feels like maybe Tobias might say that because he's like defensive of Rachel, but is Axe? I don't know. It was
yeah.
weird.
No, it is kind of weird. I mean, maybe some of that is Axe being like, Rachel is the leader now, and I must do what the leader says,
Yeah,
even if I think the leader is bad and I hate her.
right. Yeah, that
Like,
could
I don't
be.
know, but I still don't know that it really. Yeah, I mean
Marco
that the
also
yeah.
asks if is it Rachel
Hmm.
or she asks if she's on medication.
Oh yeah, he does. Like, yeah, because I think you need. That's when Rachel's like, "Well, I'll just go down on my own to save Cassie from the York pool." Then,
He says, I think your dosage needs to be adjusted. Yet more sensitive treatment of mental
yeah,
illness. Okay. You were
yeah.
saying?
Now Rachel cries in this scene. Like she
Mm.
has a breakdown and cries because of Cassie and how it's like her fault. And I'm
Hmm.
thinking about the times when Rachel has cried in the series. I can think of a few. I can think of the time when she is alone in her room with nobody watching and she would never let anybody see her. I can think about the time where she tried really hard not to, but like a single tear got out and Tobias noticed it because he has good eyesight, but nobody else noticed it. And I can think about book 32, where half of Rachel cried all the time. And so that makes me think this really does come, it feels like strong evidence for the fact that the only Rachel that this writer knows is the Rachel in book 32. That's why she's always either a complete psychopath or like the one time she has to be not a complete psychopath and like feel remorse or anything, she starts crying, which is completely out of character. And none of the characters remark on this. Nobody is like when nice Rachel cries, and Cassie talks about it, Marco's like, wait, what? But in this one, Rachel starts crying, and Marco's like, oh, yeah, of course, do the, oh, don't be mean to me, I'm just a girl, boo hoo thing. When
Yeah,
has Rachel ever
right.
done this before? Like, what do you mean that thing?
Right.
It just, yeah.
Yeah, they just it's like this writer just does not know who these characters are.
Yeah.
I- it's like the most surface version of them, but if you actually examine it at all, they would never say these things.
Hmm.
Here's a theory another theory that might explain it.
Hmm.
Which I hesitate to say it because I don't know. I guess it could be perceived as
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
well.
I don't, hmm.
I'm just wondering if maybe we're talking about the characters' ages. Maybe this is
Uh-oh.
maybe Rachel's becoming a woman.
Oh.
I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. Just maybe.
Oh.
Maybe this is Rachel's.
You're gonna get us in trouble, John.
I hope nobody writes any angry emails.
Oh no, what a shame. We'd have to read them on air. How awful.
I just think there's not a lot of young
Mhm.
adult fiction dealing with that, and it could be a positive experience for women to read a book at a young age and learn about how annoying they'll be when they get their period.
I do
So
think there's a thing with K.A. Applegate where I'm trying to remember what series it was, but there was like some young adult series of novels that K.A. Applegate ghost wrote for. And like she said in an interview at one time, she's like, "Oh yeah, when I wrote my book, I decided she was going to have her first period so I could talk about something like that I wasn't supposed to talk about in kids' books."
Yeah, they should have. I'd love to read that book. Rachel and Cassie get their cycles synced up.
There's been a dog barking here for like an hour. Can you hear that?
I
I'm
heard it
hoping you
just
can.
now.
It's
Yeah.
been going on continuously. I hope it hasn't been bothering anything.
Yeah, well, maybe. Maybe this is the dog episode.
Maybe this is a
He's
dog
probably
episode.
pissed. He has to listen to this. I don't blame him.
Probably is.
No one should listen to this. Um I wish Hermione got her period in Harry Potter. That would have been a fun one.
I think maybe I was about to ask, should we move on? I feel like maybe we should.
She could have used
It just feels like maybe this is
forget
not
it.
the
Yeah.
part where we should
Yeah,
be
you're
staying
right.
on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm not qualified to talk about these things fully. Partially, yeah.
We'll get Emma Watson on the podcast and
Okay, sure.
okay.
I was hoping
So
JK, but
we'll get both.
oh, and
They
we
like
also
each other, right?
just a couple other notes before we leave this section.
Yeah.
I really like Marco calls Rachel a mall crawling psycho. That's a good insult.
Uh-huh.
And we also find out that Rachel's mom has been working on a major new case lately.
Oh, okay.
It's also like a very shitty, stupid aside of where it's almost like a justification where Rachel says, "Oh, well, my mom probably won't even notice I'm gone." Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be, so you don't question the parents being suspicious, or is it supposed to be they just threw that in for some teenage angst that their parents don't treat them right, but that's not something we've ever seen before from Rachel's mom, really. I guess she's busy, she has a job, but it's just a weird throwaway line that I didn't understand why it was in there.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that happened, so whatever it was trying to do, it didn't work.
Okay. Now let's get to the part of the book where I legit I just said this isn't happening.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about Rachel's plan to get into the bean tower here.
With an
Okay.
E, bean with an E at the end.
With an E, yes. So they go down to a small private airfield, Morgan Airport. And as kids, I should note, they don't do this as like birds or anything like that. No. They hop the barbed wire fence. They run past all the armed guards.
Yeah,
and
they are humans at this point.
They
correct?
are humans. Yes, they are humans. As humans, they do that. And acts as an Andalite.
Fucking Christ.
They make a point of how he has trouble with the stairs because he's an Andalite. So they hop the barbed wire fence, they run past the armed guards, and they hijack a private jet. And don't worry, Axe can fly. Axe
At
can
the
fly a
airport.
plane. Yeah, from the airport, they hijack a private jet. Uh, and they fly the jet to the building, and they put the jet into a dive, pointing straight at the building. And at the last second, they jump out and morph bird, and the plane crashes into the building. And it goes straight through the building in a giant fireball and goes straight down. The wreckage lands in the Yerk pool and fucks up the pool. So the plan here is that I'm just going to reiterate, they hijack a plane and they fly it into the building.
Into a tower.
Into a tower. Very specifically a tower.
In December of 1999.
Yes.
Is
They
when
could
this
not
came
have written this in December of 2001.
No, this is the episode that doesn't air in reruns. So the way that this plays out, they don't, at least to be honest with you, I might have glossed over it because shit was just happening so fast. It was hard for me to keep up.
Yeah.
But I don't think they tell you what the plan is.
No, they don't.
I'm just reading, I'm like, okay, Rachel's still the leader because fucking who gives a fuck. They have a plan. All of a sudden, they're at the airport. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
I would like to point out something about them being at the airport.
Sure.
When they hop the barbed wire fence, they say that, they're not in their morphing suits or anything like that. They have jeans and sweatshirts, and they have them because they stashed them at Cassie's barn in case of emergencies. Which means they did not morph to get to the airport. They walked to the airport, with Cassie having an hour left in morph. They walked to the airport, and then hijacked this plane as kids, rather than flying there as birds and then flying into the plane as a bird to hijack it. Or anything else. Any other option.
I know that pre 9/11, I said it, airport security was a bit more lax.
This is a private airport.
Yeah, that's also confusing. They also name the airport. Whatever. It's not a real one, I don't think, but it's,
Probably.
At this point, the inconsistency of naming real places is the least of my concerns.
Yeah.
But they, how many times in the past have they avoided their human morphs specifically because controllers could see them? There's not one security camera that maybe will catch them. This is what Eric the Chi could have been there for. He could have disabled them. He probably could have flown a plane. Well, no, he probably can't because he doesn't fucking download
he's also
the
not
pilot
programmed to do 9/11.
Well, that's what they just wouldn't tell him that part. They're like, just set it for these coordinates. And so, but just everything I'm experiencing as I'm reading is like, they're at the airport, huh? They're a private jet. Who? Where are they taking it? Then I'm like, oh, they're doing like a Mission Impossible thing. They're like going to jump out of it, skydive out of it, and then I guess one of them will stay behind to land the plane. No. No. It's going into the building. They literally 9/11. Animorphs fucking do a 9/11.
There's a whole scene because Rachel has to jump out of the plane early, so she's only half morphed. So there's a whole scene where Rachel is falling, basically still human, through the air, watching the plane crash into the building and the giant fireball there.
Absolutely insane. And this is okay. Then they're like, just as Tobias said, it's an empty building. There's no people in it. But in this book where I'm supposed to be thinking about, the poor man who had a heart attack, we're just casually flying a plane into a tall building in, I assume, the middle of a city. Where is this building? I don't understand where it is. Like, the parts of the plane aren't going to fall. Debris from the tower isn't going to hurt anyone. You know this?
Do you think in this universe we went to war with Afghanistan over the Animorphs? Like everyone tuned into the news. Like, did you see a plane just hit the Bean Tower, Mr. President?
They just have some footage of Marco, and they're like, an Iraqi. They did it.
Rachel's she's got the feathers all over her face, so that they think she's some other ethnicity or something.
that blue guy, he must be from the Middle East. Oh my god. It is so crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, even outside of the you're not allowed to do it post 9/11, like there are so many post 9/11 questions that come up that you would like I don't know. In 1999, would you think to ask if they crash a plane into a building, what about the health hazard of having the debris from the building strewn across half the city and like, you know, there's going to be people like trapped in the rubble. There's going to be people breathing that shit in and having like cancer or whatever. There's going to be people concussed from the blast. Like these are all things we're very aware of because we saw people walk through blood and bone on 9/11, right? So
Mhm.
like here it's just like, yeah, plane crashed into a building. The building's gone now. Don't worry about it. It
Yeah,
was fine. And
it's
we know,
fine.
like, you can't get around that imagery anymore. You also, again, can't get around the imagery of like, okay, so first there were all these animal attacks on the news. I get it. People are walking around scared because they think maybe animals are escaped from the zoo. Then a plane crashes into a building. This has to be like the most important thing in any news cycle for the next year across the country. And I didn't tell you, I don't think it's ever referenced again. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'll spoil this. Jake comes home at the end, and he didn't apparently
Yeah.
hear about any of this. Didn't make the news out to fucking Seattle or wherever he was
Yeah.
for his weekend trip. None of
Yeah.
this hit CNN or anything.
Even as a kid pre 9/11 when I read this did break my suspension of disbelief. Like I was just like, they didn't steal a plane and fly it into a building. What are you talking about? 10-year-old me knows better than that.
Well, let me just add this one more detail, which I don't know if I should bring it up, but
Mhm.
it's in here. I just think we should just mention it.
Now I'm
Uh, li-
feeling like maybe we shouldn't the way you're
no,
phrasing this.
I think that it's maybe our duty to the American
All
citizens
right. All
to
right.
report on this,
Mention
as
it, I suppose.
we are unbiased journalists. Just a little after this, they're down in the place. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they do specifically reference from inside of the Yerk headquarters that in the center of it, there are, according to the book, it sounds like they're intact. Steel
Mm.
supporting beams.
I was actually going to make that point about this too, because
It,
this
yeah,
yeah,
according to this book,
the scene
literally,
doesn't really make sense.
jet fuel does not melt steel beams.
Oh, I was thinking you were going to say this doesn't work because the plane smashed the building and but the steel beams were intact.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what yeah. Jet
Now,
fuel doesn't melt them.
You do know that jet fuel actually doesn't melt steel beams, right?
Why the fuck do you think I'm saying it? You think I don't mean everything I say on this podcast?
I'm just telling you that is in fact true.
Yeah. Listen, I've seen the Mythbusters where they did that.
That's why the steel beams are intact.
Remember when they busted 9/11?
9/11 busted. I don't know if I ever told you this. When I lived in upstate New
Busted.
York, I had some crazy people living with me, and one of them was this old guy. He was like 60 or something. I don't remember. But like he was all like, I used to be this lawyer, but I've been out of work for a long time. And he was like, but I'm going to get my old job back because I'm working on this expose, which is going to like bust open and change everything once I bring this case to light. And then I'll have my old career back. And the case was like it was like holding people accountable for their part in 9/11 from like the Bush administration or something. Like he was like a full-on 9/11 truther who like thought he was going to get his old career back through this 9/11 truth thing. It was like really weird. Guy was really weird. I think he was also like dating some like mail order Ukrainian lady
Did
like
you live
over
in
the internet,
the
and he really wanted to like go meet her. Like that was part of why he wanted his job back, was so that he could bring her over here. Weird guy.
was this the house that Borat stays in the second Borat movie during COVID?
Well, we didn't have
Sounds
any you know what's there, so
okay, sure. All right, so anyway, now we can officially discuss the fact that Animorphs have killed Hitler, killed the dinosaurs, and also done a 9/11.
yes, they also did 9/11.
These things all
9/11 was
happened.
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel did 9/11.
Uh,
Absolutely fucking crazy.
I'm really glad that you weren't not sure what was happening.
I had no idea until it literally happened. I just about screamed. I even because as I was reading it, I think I literally I wrote, this is a note that I wrote. I wrote, are they gonna fucking 9/11 the Bean Tower? I wrote that down. It was a joke. I did not think they were going to. And then they did.
And then they did.
So I just don't know. I can't ask questions anymore with an Animorphs book because whatever the joke is, they might just do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't predict it.
Yeah, there's nothing. Listen, like, what are you gonna after they killed Hitler and did 9/11? Like, what the hell else is there? What
Nothing's
joke
off
can
limits.
you make? Yeah, it's all on the table.
I mean, what was that one fan fiction you read? Something like that could happen. Sign up for the Patreon, folks. Let's get to the climax.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Let's get to the climax here. All right, so in the chaos of 9/11, right? The plane punched a hole down to the Yerk pool. There's explosions. The wreckage is in the pool itself. They've all been they're birds, but they've all like been separated. So Rachel's on her own as a bird flying around the Yerk pool. She easily finds the captured Cassie, right? Cassie's there as a polar bear. She's in shackles, whatever. But Visser 3 is here, and so is Mr. Inspector the Garrotron. And Visser 3 is like, well, Inspector, since it's, so easy to kill these Andalite bandits, why don't you just kill them for me right now, and you can take all the glory, and you can send poor little old me off to the mines, oh boo-hoo. So he gets his Hork-Bajir to, like, make a ring, like it's a gladiatorial fight type thing, right? I think they even say that. And so the Garrotron is fighting Cassie, and it's kicking her ass, and Rachel's trying to swoop in, but it's too fast. And then the other Animorphs all show up. Hooray! Because they're here too. They made it. And they're all birds except for Marco, who is a snake. He's a cobra. And they drop Marco in there, and they're all, Cassie's fighting him. The birds are swooping in. They're trying to peck at him, but the Garrotron's zipping around, dodging all of them. But it's too much, and Marco gets a bite in on him as a snake, and he dies. And Visser 3 is like, whoops, oh no, looks like you failed and died. Too bad for you. Ha ha. And the Animorphs all leave, and he basically lets them get away because he's too busy taunting the Inspector as he dies. And so they get Cassie out. They escape. Yeah. Hooray.
Yeah. So bad. Not a good part.
There's a bit here where Cassie's in some shackles, and she does some selective morphing to just get her hands human so she can slip them. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I missed that because at this point, this was just like a big weird action scene, and I was like just reeling from 9/11, and I was sort of just sleepwalking through this part, to be honest. I did wonder. No, about what?
Go ahead. I had a note for you here, so you can say whatever you thought first. It might be about this.
Well, this is a stupid little. I'm smarter than the author. A dumb nitpick, but I don't know. They have Cassie in shackles. Why didn't they just put a Yerk in her? Yeah. They know she's
Visser 3 wanted to have her beat the Garrotron in a gladiatorial fight.
Like they even say like, oh no, if they put a Yerk in her, they'd be able to like they'd know all her secrets and she'd
Yeah.
what
They don't even check. Like they're not like, oh, there's Cassie in shackles. I hope that's the real Cassie. They're like,
no,
oh, good,
because
Cassie.
yeah, why would they? Why would there be a
Yeah,
Yerk in her? Why would they would never do that? What's the
yeah,
one thing we don't have to worry about? Them putting a Yerk in someone's head. Last
yeah.
thing they'd ever do.
Well,
Okay.
maybe it's two small beans at this point with this book, but I did have a note here with they kill the Garotron. Marco bites him as a cobra, which is the way Axe tried to kill
Oh.
Visser
Oh yeah.
3. And I was like,
Sure.
this is your opportunity to complain about that again. This
Oh
time it
yeah.
works.
Yeah, well guess what? I wrote, Visser 3 is happy they murdered the Garotron with snake venom, which I wrote, which he knows a lot about at this point. That's his. Yeah, of course I thought it's also is stupid.
Yeah.
It's very stupid. I don't understand. So the way they defeated the Garotron was just they distracted him and then Marco snuck up on him as a snake.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter that he was a snake. He could have been a guy with a gun.
Well, I
He
think
could've-
they were also like the snake's really fast too, because it hits so fast. But like they still needed the other distractions. I don't know. I
It
don't
read
know.
like it wasn't that he was fast, but that he was small. So that like while they were distracted, he snuck up and like got him when he wasn't moving.
Yeah,
Because
I thought it was both, but like yes, this could be a guy with a gun.
it's
Like
it just
where he
didn't.
didn't see him.
It's just like it's just so they set up this Garotron in the beginning and how fast he is, and it feels like the climax of the book should be, oh, figured out his maybe quote unquote the weakness. Oh, he has a way to be slowed down, but they don't do anything to him. They're just like, well, a snake will get him now.
Wouldn't it be
It's
cool if they were like, he's so fast, nothing's faster than him, except for maybe a cheetah.
Whoa,
Let's
what a
go out to the
concept.
Gardens and get a cheetah.
What
And then the
a
cheetahs
logical
outsped him.
progression. Yeah, that really would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Well, here's the thing. It's his hubris. It's all about the Garotron's hubris.
Right. Yeah, bringing it back.
Do you see?
Yes.
That's what it is.
It's not Visser 3's hubris. He's not punished for just letting the
Nah, he's good. He fucking Brer Rabbit's the guy, and it works.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Or maybe he's punished because he's so busy taunting the Garotron the Animorphs get away.
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay, it sucks. I'm ready to move on.
All right. Yeah. No, fair enough. I just figured I like to put the last chapter as its own little section, so that I mean, because they always have a little sum up chapter.
Sure.
Yeah. So in the last chapter, Rachel she reflects on the old guy who died, and she goes to visit his family, and she apologizes to his grandson. It's weird. It doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. And Jake comes back, and he's like, "Listen, Rachel. You didn't get anyone killed, so could have been worse. You know what? At the end of the day, it's tough to be a leader." And Rachel learns a valuable lesson. The end.
Yeah, Jake's not pissed at all. He's like, this is fine. No repercussions for you. You tried. Good work.
Yeah. They keep bringing up these issues with like what it is to be a leader, and the only good part is like this tiny bit at the end with Jake that I think is actually decent.
But Jake, it's okay, but Jake should be furious.
Yes, he should be furious with her, yeah.
In every other book, Jake gets outraged if somebody disobeys one order.
Yeah.
He left for a weekend and they blew up a building and
They did
9/11
9/11.
millions in property damage and
3
killed
days
an old
without
man.
Jake. 3 days without Jake, you do a 9/11. This is why you can't be left on your own, Rachel.
It's like a classic sitcom setup. The parents go out of town. Now, kids, while we're away, don't do any 9/11s. Okay, Dad. As soon as they're out the door, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep. Sally, yeah, this weekend, tell everyone. Biggest 9/11 ever at my house. Okay.
Yeah.
Rachel is the fact that she like goes to the funeral and talks to the family. It's such a selfish dumbest
Yeah.
thing. It's not for them. It's for
No.
her, and it sucks. And
Yeah, it's stupid.
this
Like,
old man
contrast this
sucks.
with Cassie going to see Gump,
I forgot
in
about
book
Gump.
16. That was way better. That, like, felt like something was happening. Yeah, this is just here to be here.
Is this the worst Animorphs book? I am fully aware of what I am saying when I say I I really think this might be the worst one. I, I
It's up there. Let
it
me tell you,
is terrible.
it's very bad.
Not that it was. I've said this, I've said before, like some books are bad and boring. I won't call this book boring, but I think it is bad enough that maybe it doesn't matter that it's interesting. It's interesting only because of how much it sucks. And man, does it suck. Like most of it really sucks for all the reasons that we stated. The pacing is wrong, the characters are completely wrong, the writing is not anything to write home about. In fact, I think it's worse than probably the worst in terms of just the pure writing of it, the worst ghost written book there's been.
I think
Uh,
that when the series is over, we should do like a bottom 10 or a bottom 5 at least.
yeah, well, we'll
Like,
have all
what
our
are the
rankings
worst books?
theoretically. Yeah, we could
Yeah.
put that together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like
Oh,
we might
yeah.
have a couple that are all around D's. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's not many that compete with this for being the worst.
It's really crazy. And again, I don't know what the weakness is. Is it the Garotron's weakness? Is the weakness that Jake's not there? Is
Yeah,
that I don't
Rachel's got a weakness. She can't be the leader. I feel
it's
like
Visser
maybe it is
three's
supposed to be.
weakness?
Yeah. Uh,
I don't. It should be
I
like
close.
the
Yeah.
it should be like the what's the word? Like they're capitalizing on Visser three's vulnerability like in this moment. The vulnerability or something. I don't know.
I don't
Whatever.
know. Yeah. Yeah. No, the closest I got is that the weakness of the Animorphs is that they fall apart without Jake. But again, that's just not. It's not really all that talked about. It just happens.
Yeah, it just unfurls, it spills itself out onto the pages. Okay. Can you read that Reddit comment to me?
All right. No Improvement 7573 says. I will die on my hill saying 37 should be ranked way higher than everyone usually does. It's ironic how this is the book that shows Rachel shouldn't be in charge of anything when her plan to assassinate Visser 3 only failed because the fucker pulled Barry Allen out of his ass. It's the closest in the series they ever came to killing him, even closer than when Axe 1v1'd him as a rattlesnake in 8. It's Rachel at both her worst and her best. It displays all of her faults and qualities, and ends with her getting her shit together and saving the day. 37 is her best book and one of my favorites in the series. Also, anyone who makes a visual adaptation of the 9/11 scene needs to play Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle over it. I have spoken.
Rachel, doesn't she say like, "Okay, boys and girls, let's rock and roll"? She has like a fucking line before they do the 9/11. Um
Oh god.
What's
Yeah,
his
what
user's
do you think about
name?
this?
What was it? No
No Improvement
improvement.
7573.
Thank you so much. You're probably not listening to this episode, but if you are, uh, thank you for commenting. We already chastised you for commenting on a book that was not in the season when we were supposed to comment on books from last season at this time. That's
Mhm.
fine. That's why we're talking about it now. This is your comment. It's not even a good defense of anything. You don't. It's you like this book because Rachel is good and it shows that she's good. You're deranged. You're like Rachel in this book. You're a psychopath most likely. And
Yeah.
you're wrong. It's not you die on this hill. Please. Please die on it.
I like
I
I don't know that I agree with any of these points. Was this the closest they got to killing Visser 3? This was closer than when Axe pumped him full of rattlesnake venom and he only just barely got out in time. Like, they were hurting him, but there were also armed Hork-Bajir guards that they were kind of dodging, but they were like, well, we're running low on endurance. If we don't do it soon, we won't get him. Also, does that make it a good book?
Yeah,
Was that even Rachel's plan? Rachel wasn't in charge of anything yet at that point. They were just kind of doing that. They decided on her being in charge afterwards. And wait a second. So it ended with her getting her shit together? No, I'm pretty sure it ended with a scenario in which it was okay for once that her shit wasn't together because they had to go crazy and do her getting her shit together is doing 9/11. That's what you call getting your shit together. She didn't, at what point did she grow and change and become the person she needed to be in the first half? Marco explicitly said, we didn't need you in the first half. We needed me, but now we need you. Like, no, you're just like, this is just wrong.
I like the
Also, when you say at both her worst and her best, you mean worst with a T.
Oh shit.
Just gonna throw that one out there too. Which is honestly, considering we got this from Reddit, that's probably the worst criticism you could ever receive on Reddit.
Oh, if you can't handle Rachel at her mean, you don't deserve her at her nice. I do like the sentiment that the quality of a book is based not on its quality, but on just how successful the Animorphs are in their mission. That just feels like such the mentality of a 12-year-old who's like, oh, the best Dragon Ball Z episode is when they get so close to killing Frieza. It's like
no
they
offense, no improvement, but like this is terminal Reddit brain in action.
It's just it's like you're praising the book for. That's not the writer just made that up. You know that, right? Yeah. It's not like this is a war and you're like, oh, the most successful battle, like this was a good generals and I'm defending this leader. It's like the writer just said that happened. That doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't even think they said that happened. Like, that's the word, like, I can't even get to the part of that's not a valid criticism. I don't think it's even, like, it's just, no improvement, don't listen to any more of these episodes if you're listening to this. We don't need you here.
You're gone. You're
unsubscribe
banned
from our Patreon.
That goes for anyone who likes this book. Fuck off.
You can like this book, you just have to defend yourself. If you say something like, listen, I'm a big 9/11 fan. Anytime I see 9/11, I'm cheering. Right? I can accept that, you know?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. You know, it's funny that, remember that picture of, maybe there's a video of it where George W. Bush was reading to those kids when 9/11 happened. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe. I might.
It's like a famous picture. He's like reading a kid's book to a classroom, and then that's when someone comes in and they're like, sir, 9/11 happened. And he's like, ah, shit.
I might have seen this, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a famous picture. I was just wondering. Okay. I just feel like if you zoom in on it, maybe he's reading this book to those kids.
Yeah, we'll get you in Photoshop for that one.
Yeah, I just Googled it. There's like a guy comes over and just whispers in his ear and is in front of this classroom of kids.
I showed you the edit of that where they replaced George W. Bush with the whale, right?
The
whale. Like the whale, yeah.
The whale, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that, but sounds funny.
It's really funny.
How about pop culture references?
Yeah, go through. There's a decent number.
I have another theory too, which is that the ratio of pop culture references to the quality of a book, I think the more there are, the worse it probably is.
I mean, I was strongly considering trying to get a graph going of like, what is your rating of each book? What is my rating of each book? And what is the pop culture reference count for each book? Just see if there's any correlation, but maybe end of series, they'll go back.
Be an interesting experiment. It wasn't as bad as that one Marco book, but there was a section during that montage where I was going, oh, come on. Stop it. Here we go. As I said, there's a person in the Bible named Rachel. There's a Rachel on Friends. What's up with this season's stringy hair? Weird. What a timely reference to Friends. I wonder which season that was when Rachel had stringy hair.
1999.
Yeah, it was probably, that's later in the run. So that's maybe season 6 or 7. I don't know. This was traction Jeff Gordon would envy, she says of the cheetah. Marco says, okay, Xena. Kind of sounds like okay, boomer. Like a bullet fired from a 30-30. That's, of course, a specific kind of Winchester or something rifle, so that counts.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a Hamlet complex, Marco, to which he replies, yeah, and there's a method to my madness, which I think you kind of said before, like, wait, that means for Marco to say that, he must have read Hamlet and retained that.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at all.
Like, that's not a phrase.
I mean, yeah, Hamlet complex is just not a phrase also.
Yeah. Yeah, so, he has to interpret what she means.
Is that what she means? I don't even remember the context.
I'm not even entirely sure. I don't even want to get into it.
Okay, let's not. We'll let the listeners write in for that.
Yeah.
Rachel mentions Oedipus Rex, written by a guy with an equally unpronounceable name. I don't know. I mean, I just said it. I think a lot of people have said it.
Yeah.
Probably your English teacher said it to you, Rachel, and
yeah,
you know.
Now he has a complex named after him.
That's true. Yeah, they don't mention that, which maybe, I mean, Jake has sort of a version of it. Marco definitely has a version of it. But that does, I think, lend more evidence to the theory that they have entered freshman year of high school, because I feel like Oedipus Rex is high school. I don't think you're reading that in 8th grade.
I think you're right.
Hold up, General Patton. They left gashes in the sheetrock, brushed a Xerox machine and sent it tumbling. Probably the one they used to sexually harass that guy.
I think it is, yeah.
This part's really funny. Marco says, somebody grabbed me a Lala doll when we were inside, okay? I really like that little yellow one. Marco, you do know Teletubbies are for preschoolers, right? And then Axe adds, uh-oh, Lala, big hug.
I like that one.
I kind of like it. It is very, it is funny how incredibly dated. It's like, it's a weird thing because at that time, Teletubbies was very relevant. Like that was a new kids show. And it's weird reading this now to think of it that way, that was a fresh ref. Anyway.
Hot off the presses.
I stabbed my X-Men Wolverine nails into a cardboard box of books. Guess they see in the bookstore, guess how much I love you, bunnies. I didn't look that up, but I feel like that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a book.
Slamming down on top of assorted Disney heroines and Pooh and Piglet and Tigger. The Blue's Clues display went down. Hey, don't mess with Blue. I have a niece who thinks Steve and Blue are the sun and the moon. Also pretty new at this time. Look, Mommy, it's Curious George. Hey, little dude, I'm a gorilla. Curious George is a monkey. And then Marco recommends that the parent get her kids some reading material such as Zillions Magazine or the Consumer Report.
I did not know what Zillions Magazine. I looked it up. Apparently, it is the Consumer Report for kids. It is published by Consumer Report, but it's for kids.
So is he just he just citing his source?
I guess. Although I'm just gonna say right now, if that's true, what I just said, then dear God, don't give that to your kid. What the fuck?
Teach them to be a good little capitalist. And why does Marco know about that? Well, maybe his dad is. I don't know. Whatever. It's fucking stupid. Whatever. Hey, I like these Skechers. Some of us don't run right out and spend it all at the Gap. There's an overstuffed armchair, the kind Bruce Wayne and rich old men in smoking jackets are supposed to laze around in. Kind of took issue with this because I was like, I mean, Bruce Wayne, yeah, he has them in his house, but I don't know that he's lazing around in them. Like he's got shit he's doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if he's lazing around in them, it's for show.
Right.
That's the impression he wants. This kind of reads like Rachel doesn't know Bruce Wayne is Batman. Anyway, we rampaged through Kinko's, avoided the Gap. She says, she pulls a Tom Holland and says, like Gene Kelly in that old movie, Singin' in the Rain. So, think they picked up Mickey D's on the way in? I think I smell a filet of fish. Always had a secret love of the filet of fish sandwich. When they're murdering people by smashing their heads together, Rachel says it's like something out of an old Three Stooges, which I'm sure you liked.
I did like that.
Also, I'm sure we both like this. The Garrotron is compared to Jim Carrey in The Mask.
I loved that.
As well as the Tasmanian Devil in a whirlwind around Yosemite Sam. No Roadrunner. They did not specifically reference Roadrunner.
Or Sonic.
Or Sonic.
I think it's Sonic, yeah.
Yeah. The Gap dressing room, McDonald's bathroom, blah, blah, blah. There's a Philip Morris truck. Whatever. And then Marco says, or somebody says to Cassie, then you're Nanook for life. Which correct me if I'm wrong.
Nanook is the name of the polar bear.
That is the name of the polar bear, but it still is a reference, I think, to named after the documentary about Nanook of the North.
Yeah, we did.
Which we brought up when that.
I think we brought up, yeah.
So I still kind of, also I did like that. I was like, oh, I like that they remembered that name. That's kind of
funny.
fun.
There's a lot of references to other books that are very specific in here.
A lot.
For her to not know who these characters are, and
yeah, it's weird.
It's very strange.
They reference like the Taylor book. They reference the Morphing Ray. I guess that's the same stuff. That they go back to a couple other ones too. That it's like, yeah, what?
I
More
wonder
than usual.
if maybe she was like, I have not read these books. Give me a list of some things from the old books. And Kay Applegate gave her a paragraph or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe that's what it is. Okay, so we had to spend 2 episodes on this, but I think all the listeners will agree it makes sense.
Yeah, we've covered everything now. It's all well and truly covered.
And because we, did the cover last week, we came in under time.
That's right. Yeah, we didn't take too long.
Okay. If you'd like to email us, if you would like to defend this book and then be probably assassinated by me or someone I hire, email us, the yerkyboys@gmail.com. We'll read any of your opinions on the show, no matter how stupid they are. And what else could they do?
Well, they could also subscribe to our Patreon. If these last two episodes weren't enough content for you, we've got even more going on over there for only $5 a month at patreon.com/theyerkyboys. This week, we are going to be doing The Thing.
Which thing?
The Thing.
Oh, right.
The movie from 1982.
Thing.
It's been a long time coming.
D-Thing. D. The Thing. The. Okay, forget it.
If that's the kind of joke you want, then trust me, we're going to have hours of it over there. Only $5 a month.
Wow. Good sell. Hey, if you want to follow me online somewhere else, you can go to my website, jonathanestis.com, for more podcasts. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Jonathan Estes if you want. That's it.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Tune in next time when we'll be talking about Book 38, The Arrival, in which Axe turns into a bird on the Yerky Boys.